Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy post NBA draft. Happy pre NBA free agency. You are here on a Tuesday morning. We are grateful. Thank you for tuning in to Hoop Spaces wherever you are. Do us a favor. I'm going to get the card up there. Make sure you like and retweet. Also, if you didn't know, we now are on YouTube. We had a YouTube channel. We just never did anything on it, and people thought it was weird. So now we actually have stuff on YouTube on a channel. So if you could do us a favor, head over to YouTube real quick and type in Hoop Spaces, and you'll find our channel. You'll also find a ton of content already preloaded with the hashtag Hoop Spaces, and always powered by audiolabs.io over there on YouTube. Shout out to Audio Labs, a dope company. This beta has been awesome, and we're working on getting a couple of new features. They have this dashboard. We'll be able to actually do a couple other things like simulcast on Clubhouse and a couple others. Hey, I took yesterday off, and you know what? Kyrie decided to make news, so I guess we'll get into that. The Beal watch is back on. Spider watch is back on. DeJounte Murray, maybe, to Atlanta, New York. Who knows? Hopefully, we get some good news and some resolutions today, heading into the last day where players can opt into their player option. All right. Hey, appreciate it. If you want to come on up, you know what to do. You got to go ahead and raise those hands. I got the show card up there. It'll populate momentarily. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. Good morning. And always, if you don't want to come up, but you still want to participate, by all means, there's a chat box in the bottom right. Just say what's up. I'm about to say good morning. We'll be back in about 20 seconds. Listening to Hoop Spaces. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming in. You can see the show card up here. I see Manny's already ready to go. I'm going to bring him up here. If you want a mic, go ahead and request it, and we'll bring you up. We got some WNBA to get to. We have some NBA to get to, specifically Kyrie Irving, the Nets, San Antonio, New York. Shout out to all the content creators down below. Shout out to everybody who is a regular listener, such as Malcolm, Czar, Nate. It's good to see you. Būrgh, Al, Abner, lots of other people that I want to give shout outs to. I'll give some more later on this morning. All right, so we have Manny up here. I see Joe, the historian, wants to come up. Of course, Bukhari, like the only Celtics fan that like literally has nothing else to do because school is out. And my man 808s and SnackᏰreaks is down below. I want to get him up when he's available so we can go ahead and get through some of this WNBA talk. 2 games last night, the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever, the Las Vegas Aces, and the LA Sparks. So we got that to get to. And I know for a fact he's going to want to talk about Chicago Sky taking over the top spot of the W Power Rankings after an amazing 3-0 week that saw them break a WNBA record. So we got that. And then we also have, a recap of Kyrie, KD, and a whole bunch of other things. Good morning, everybody. 808s, are you ready?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning to the good people of Hoop Spaces. What's popping?
Not much, man. We got to talk about the Sky. We got to talk about how bad the Fever are. And the Aces seem to be back to their winning ways. Also, over the weekend, bad news for Brittney Griner, as her detention has been basically extended through the life of the trial. Her trial in Russia for narcotic trafficking starts Friday. She has a risk of up to 10 years in prison, and only about 0.8%, so that's less than 1%, of all criminal proceedings end in acquittals in Russia. So not really good news there. Phoenix Mercury and Tina Charles actually call it quits on each other on a contract divorce. We got that after 18 games. I'm still like they said contract divorce. I'm still lost on that. Like it's hilarious. And then also Rutgers, ladies and gentlemen, is making a move. Basically signing Tasha Pointer as an assistant coach that I think is possibly in line to replace Vivian Stringer long term. All right, boom, lots to get to. We're going to open up with the W, though, with my man 808s and Snack Breaks. And like always, I ask everybody, please do us the favor, like and retweet the show card above. And I'm going to get some other content cards out there, such as Live from the Mecca, which is coming up tomorrow at 7:30. 808s, man, go ahead.
Appreciate it, Chris. We are now at the midway point of the W season, and just like we say in the NBA, when you reach All-Star break or you're coming up close onto it, you are what your record says you are. Unfortunately, the Los Angeles Sparks are 7-11. I don't know what's going on with that, but yes, the Las Vegas Aces were victorious last night by 6 points. The fact that I can't really talk much because, the Sky needed overtime to beat the Dream a couple weeks ago. But, it's Ryan Howard that we're talking about. The Aces are looking faulty, but let me get back to my team. Winners of 6 of their last 7. They've won 11. They won 11 out of their last, 14? Since Khalid Copper came back. They won, 500 the first 2 weeks of the season. After that, they've really just been rolling. Courtney Vandersloot, she's really been killing it. She leads W right now in clutch points scored. I think it's at like 42. And she also leads the Sky in fourth quarter scoring through the month of June. Without her, they wouldn't be winners 5 of their last 6. They're 13-5 right now. They're half a game out behind the Las Vegas Aces for the best record of the W. And, Candace Parker said one thing before the season started, that we're not going to win another championship or even compete for one going 16-16. You look at this season as far as we've came now, and they're 13-5, and arguably the best team in the W. I've seen Las Vegas when they're great. I've seen them when they're bad. And you're not going to win a championship in this league with the worst scoring bench in the entire league. You're just not going to do that. And you can say, that's because they didn't have Raquan, but I'm not really trying to hear that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to hear it either. I want to give the Sky a whole bunch of credit. I was kind of mean in the beginning of the season, not thinking they would be able to repeat. 808s here has been pretty on point and steady and faithful. So shout out to all the players and coaches that make the Sky a wonderful team. I was wrong. I've got no problem saying that. Vandersloot also, I think, is working her way into a first or all WNBA team behind Kelsey Plum at point guard. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Honestly, Chris, I think she should be an all-star starter as well at this point. I don't think that's too far gone. And while we're at it, Rebecca Gardner is all first-team defense. Like, I don't think that's even, a hot take. If you watch the games, you see the way that she's impacted this team on the wing off the bench, and you understand that she's arguably one of the best defenders on this team besides Kalia. Other than that, this team is really just loaded from the top to the bottom. The front court trio of Candace Parker, Emma Meeseman, and Azurá Stevens has really carried this team to a 13-5 record, and I can't see them wait to dominate in the playoffs with that same team. But as far as some of the other teams in the W right now, Indiana and Phoenix played last night. Phoenix won 83-71. That's Rossi. I think she led all scores at 27. Yeah, she had 27. Kelsey Mitchell had 22. Listen, I know she shot 5 for 16, I think. But Kelsey Mitchell isn't being talked about enough because of how bad the Fever are. And I get that. But she's an all-star. Like, we have to talk about all of them, not just the ones that are on great teams. Unfortunately, she plays with 9 rookies. But she's one of the better players in the league.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think her only problem is that a lot of people think it's volume because she plays for the Fever, and my gosh, when they lose, they lose, and it's rarely ever competitive in the second half, and I think that's also going to hurt her. But if I were a voting member of media, I would really consider her for some type of postseason award because, as 808 is saying, she went to war with 9 rookies. Well, I think they kept 6, 9 rookies, and she's balling out. So shout out to her. Anybody else want to add in some W talk? Go ahead and unmute your mic and let it flow, and then we'll get into China and get into the NBA. What's up, White?
Shout out to the host. Shout out to the speakers and the listeners. There is a nasty agenda that I have to push right now. And I know 808 is going to hate me. I'm here to talk about Nneka, okay? Nneka is doing great things. She has my fantasy team looking wonderful. If you look at the nightly leader, she had a cool little 18 points. But, I'm gonna stop talking about her for a quick second. I know y'all hate me continuously talking about her. But this Vandersloot kid, oh my God, I will be the first to say, I did not think anything of her coming into the league, right? I thought that she would be more hyped than anything. The basketball coach in me is pleased with what she's done this season. Let's just bring it into consideration that she is well on her way to being a very, very, very good guard in this league. She's well on her way to being, dare I say, a top 5 guard in this league. When I look at what she's done, there's only been one game that she's played this season where she's had more turnovers than assists. I'm watching her game and I'm watching her progress and I'm watching her confidence is through the roof now. And now that she has the confidence, she can put that with her game and she's going to be an unstoppable force. If Chicago can get that together, they're going to be a force for a while. I'm rooting for her. I'm trying to get a jersey. And Nneka, that's my girl. She's looking very, very reminiscent to her, what dare I say, 2016 season. I think it was her 2016 season where she was kind of putting up the same amount of points. I think 2016 she had almost 20 points, 7.4 boards. 20 points, 2.3 boards, and now this year she's putting up 18 and 2.4. Like, she's doing the damn thing. Like, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. That's all I had to say about the WNBA stuff. And hoops, when you're ready to talk about Bradley, Beal, and Kyrie, I got some stuff to tell the people because they were fooled. They were bamboozled and hoodwinked and led astray.
Yeah, when you look at $30+ million, that kind of happens. 808, you want to reply? Go ahead. We got Boxing, TD, Manny, and Bukhari up now.
Listen, man. I agree with the whole Sloot top 5, but the thing is, she's not 5, 4, 3, or 2. She's 1. She's the best point guard in this league, and I believe that objectively and wholeheartedly. You can't name me another point guard in this league that can do what she does as consistently as she does at the level that she does.
All right. Dany D has joined us as well. Anybody else want to hop in with some W talk before we get Dany D up here? All right. Hey, Dany, good morning. How you doing?
Oh, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Today is a beautiful day. The Golden State Warriors are still champions. My man, Steph, is in the gym, getting that work in, getting that workout, getting ready for the next season for Ring 5. Last night, my Aces came back. They were on a 2-game losing streak. They came back and won last night. I'm proud of my ladies. I'm proud of the hard work they put in. I love the fight I saw last night. I saw 808 laugh. I'm not going to invest in that negativity. I'm going to get on my Kyrie level here.
You need a fight to beat the Sparks.
Fine. And you almost lost to the Lynx. So I would suggest
the Lynx are we not finna disrespect Sharon like that. Come on,
808, you had your time to talk. I am a lady. Give me the opportunity to speak, sir. Stage left. Thank you. I'm not going to get involved in any of his negativity. Don't get too happy, Nets fans, about Kyrie. I don't think the ink is wet or dry, as they say, on that contract, because he will change his mind like the wind. What else I have to say? Other than that,
don't do it all now. We just
I know. I might have to step away for a meeting.
Minutes.
I might have to step away for a meeting. I don't know
just
yet.
Want to make sure you don't shoot everything that you got in your.
Oh no, you're right. I'm not gonna shoot everything I got. But I'm just happy to be here. I missed y'all yesterday. I felt lonely yesterday without this group. I missed the banter and the camaraderie. So I'm glad we're back today, and that's all I got for right now.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Chris, is Jackie Young regressing?
Yeah.
Just checking. Just want to make sure it's not my own.
She's not regressing. And I'm not going to follow up. Sometimes sometimes she forgets that we're pushing her forward. And sometimes she just sits back and decides to let the game come to her. But she's not the head of the snake. The head of the snake is A'ja Wilson. And folks need to be reminded of that. MVP, A'ja Wilson. Thank you.
That's the head of the snake, but Jackie Young is regressing to the mean, as they would say.
It also kind of hurts when you got Chelsea Gray going 5 for 17. I know that show that must hurt.
Chelsea Gray didn't play last night, sir.
Yeah. I'm talking about game before last. Come on now.
I mean, she had a bad game. That happens. Just like y'all had a bad spat. Y'all haven't been perfect either, sir. 808. I so was hoping for the Lynx to beat y'all asses the other night. I was praying for your downfall. I was praying to all the gods. I was in my run KO shit bag that other night. So, sir, stop it.
You out here rooting for Kayla McBride? That is nasty.
I was rooting for Kayla McBride. I've always look, Cheryl Ford was the assistant coach for the great Detroit Shock, the champion Detroit Shock, who need a team back. I'm not going to go on my soapbox about that, but I'm not going to get into this with you. Other people are holding their hands up. I see YC here and some other people holding hands up. Manny, I'm going to put my hands down.
Trying to be political here. All right, so more news in the bad news. Brittany Griner is going to be facing a trial. Generally speaking, if you follow this story or if you follow geopolitical news in general, I do. We just don't talk about it here because this isn't the forum for it. Brittany Griner is going to be found guilty. Okay, like if she's found not guilty, this would be an upset beyond an upset. Literally, more than 99% of all criminal defendants in the Russian legal system meet with a guilty verdict. The system is designed to dispense justice in how they view as a quick and efficient manner from the state. This is also a sign that they are getting ready to hold serious negotiations. As if you look in Russia's history, this is exactly what they do to any foreign person whom they arrest that's considered high profile. There are actually 2 veterans that actually went through this. One of them has finally been released. The other one has just been sentenced to guilt. She's looking at 10 years. And if everything goes the way it goes, she will be found guilty and she will start serving her time. There is really only one thing that the U.S. government can do right off the bat that would get her release, and that is to release a former Russian pilot who's convicted of either drug or weapons trafficking, Victor Bout, nicknamed the Merchant of Death. That's not going to happen. The State Department has a modus operandi. They are following their modus operandi, and they will continue to do so. Unfortunately for us as Americans, we tend to view our justice system and project our justice system onto those of another country. This is just a cold shower moment to let everybody understand that this is not over and it's not likely to be over anytime soon. Hawks Fan TV, what you got?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Crazy last couple of few days in the NBA, man, with the whole Kyrie KD fiasco happening. As Dany D mentioned, I'm not sure if the ink is dried up just yet on the Kyrie deal. Obviously, there was a lot of rumors happening with Kyrie, maybe going to the Lakers. As Woj reported, it seems like he tried to test the market. No teams wanted him, so he was kind of forced to go back to Brooklyn. So we'll see what happens. maybe KD is fed up with it, and hopefully he leaves. That's my dream. But secondly, this DeJounte Murray watch is getting ridiculous. A lot of teams have come out the woodworks now, or at least a lot of the fan bases, ever since that one Hawks Spurs report got leaked out by Jake Fisher, a Bleach report. All these other teams and fan bases said that they're in the mix for DeJounte Murray, which I find comical. By the end of the day, DeJounte Murray will be an Atlanta Hawk. That is my time. Thank you.
Wow, by the end of the day, huh? The reason why DeJounte Murray's name isn't up there in the Beal watch is up there is because I've heard that two teams are looking at it. So the Hawks are one of them. There is a second team. The asking price is 3 firsts and a young player. So I can tell you that the other team, if they were to get him, oh, man, that would be scary. And somebody is flashing me hearts, and they know exactly the other team I'm speaking about.
It looks like from the latest report from Spurs talk that they were even asking for potentially 4 first-round picks, which seems a little steep to me for DeJounte Murray. But honestly, at this point, just do whatever needs to get done. Travis Schlenk, if you're listening, we need DeJounte Murray in a Hawks uniform. I'm not sure the next time a two-way guard that's both elite defensively but also offensively, but can also rebound, is ever going to be available in the next 2 or 3 years. So this is our one shot, man. Him and Trae Young would be one of the best backcourts, if not the best backcourt in the NBA. So let's make it happen.
Also, in some of this NBA rumors and innuendo report for trades, Portland is potentially shopping Anthony Simons to get a better fit next to Dame. So there's that. Nerlens Noel looks to be possibly on the move to the Los Angeles Clippers. Gary Payton II, possibly to either the Clippers or the Mavericks. Kevon Looney is about to get paid, and so is Jalen Brunson, who is linked to the New York Knicks. I still don't understand how exactly that's going to work for them. One news on the Kyrie thing before we hop into that. He did say he's going to opt in. That's just opting into the final year of the contract, ladies and gentlemen. He has every ability to still create a trade for himself to another destination. All right, up next, we'll go to Bukhari real quick. We got Manny. We'll hit back up to YC. Then we'll join in with Caleb from Brooklyn Netcast. Good morning, everybody. Bukhari, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. I was really on the Bradley Beal to the Celtics bandwagon for a little bit. I was actually saying that since last year, actually. But it seems like it's not going to happen. Bradley Beal feels content with his career and not winning a championship. But it's all right. Some people, like Damian Lillard, really like the grind. It's all right. It's all right. You loved your home. Maybe, I don't know, in D.C. if they have good taxes or something like that. I don't know. But he wants his full max. That's all right. And then I was like, maybe we could get John Wall. I don't want Derek Wall on the team. Maybe we'll get John Wall or something like that. John Wall goes to the Clippers. All right. And then let's get somebody. Because we cannot, this team that we have right now is not, I don't think we're not going to win a championship with this team. It's not possible. We need something more spicy, feel me? And looks like every team is trying to get all of the little pieces that we need, and it's not really happening. And we already beat the Celtics already beat the conference finals allegations, but with Giannis probably getting Middleton back and the Heat and everything, they're trying to make moves. Like the Eastern Conference is going to be more and more powerful in the next few years, and if we just stick with the same thing, you know what I'm saying, it's not going to work out. So I'm hoping that Brad Stevens cooks up something nice. We get DeJounte Murray, and or even not even DeJounte Murray. If we just get a good backup point guard, we'll be chilling. We'll make the finals, hopefully, and then the sky's the limit. But if we don't make any moves, oh my goodness, it's not gonna be good. That's
Yo,
all
Bukhari, did you pour salt in your cornflakes instead of sugar this morning, bro?
Nah.
One, why are you eating cornflakes? Like,
I don't even eat cereal.
Good for you. We don't need to eat human pet food, man.
Exactly.
Again, we
bro.
handing out points like government cheese. It's crazy.
I
Government
just
cheese,
eat
delicious.
banana and some
I
water.
remember.
That's all I really. That's what I eat for the morning.
That's what's up. Keep that up. Banana and water.
That's all I do.
Government
Wait, what?
wait. Government
Starving
cheese
yourself?
was delicious growing up, man. Like, what are you
Listen,
talking
I'm sorry, man. I'm speaking from a place of privilege. My bad.
about?
I mean, you bougie. What
All
you gotta
right.
get
Like,
yourself
Listen,
from
I
the
grew up eating the
cheese?
deli
Makes
stuff,
the
you know.
it makes the great. Look, I grew up middle class. My grandparents were retired auto workers for Chrysler, but we still had government cheese. We made the best grilled cheese sandwich. Put that baby in a toaster oven. Anyway,
Y'all like eating fried bologna sandwiches. I want better for you. I really do.
my grandmother in South
we
Carolina cooked that. Stop
we were
that.
so poor we didn't have fried bologna sandwiches. We had bologna relish.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Hey, yo, daddy.
So check this out, right? We
Hold on, what
got
was that again?
we got that 5-pound bologna loaf, and we got like I was poor growing up, and my mom would cut off a 1 pound and she would dice it up, right, real fine. She would then get a cup of relish, maybe 2 cups, and then a cup of mayonnaise, and then throw it in a bowl, whisk it around, and then that was what I had for lunch at school for the week.
You know what? Now I get your food takes. I totally get it. That I am sorry.
I
totally
told him
understand.
a long time ago he has been traumatized by something in his childhood. Now he just spit it out.
Well,
That is amazing.
that
That
is
is just
not.
nasty.
This is quite literally why Chris only eats at 5-star restaurants.
That's growth. That's growth right there.
It's
Your
not
trauma. Thank
traumatizing.
you.
It's like it was a normal occurrence in my culture growing up when you were poor. So like I wasn't the only one.
You see, growing up, when my mom made hamburger helper, that's why I was like, yeah, somebody didn't get paid
Bro,
this week.
nah. We didn't even get
Just
hamburgers.
because you wasn't the only one don't mean you wasn't traumatized. You just had a lot of people with you.
No, we didn't even get that. We had tuna helper, which was worse. All right, we're gonna head down to Manny. Manny's been waiting. Manny, the Nets fan, is are you happy Kyrie is opting in, or do you believe that I believe that he's only opting in because he couldn't get a signing trade?
A bit of both. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is well, mentally and physically. That's one thing. Power of positivity, I would say. Just be positive in life and positive things will occur. My situation with this whole Kyrie thing is I completely ignored what the media was saying consistently on a consistent basis. They kept running their mouth, spewing BS news, throwing anything because I've never seen so much ridicule from the media, all these conspiracy, all these if situations when it comes to Kyrie and KD ever since they joined the Nets. If you notice that. The worst case would be LeBron in his whole entire career. But these two is like they want everybody trying to break them up completely. But anyways, I'm happy he opted in. Obviously, the job's not done until we extend him. Let's see what happens during this season if he plays 50, 60 games. Also, it has to be on record. It's up to management, Steve Nash, and Kyrie to get along. Because if they don't work something out, Kyrie's definitely going to be gone or ask for a trade. And management's probably going to trade him. Now, I've spoken to my sources, and they said the media was spewing a lot of BS. And apparently the report said today that Kyrie opted in and the Nets didn't find out till.
All right, he probably got a phone call.
Did you guys see Kyrie in the space last night?
Yeah, he was in there, wasn't he?
Up in the air.
Wait, you said what?
Yeah, Emily, I
Kyrie.
was there.
Kendrick Perkins in a space last night with Richard Jefferson, and Kyrie was low-key tuning in for like 40 minutes.
Bro,
I played with space, but I bet you he does from his burner.
Manny, you cut out. That's why we were talking.
Oh, sorry.
You back with us?
Yeah. You hear me now? Sorry. Signal's a little bad.
Yeah, we got you.
No, so I'm just saying.
Pro athletes having multiple burners is hilarious, by the way.
Dang.
Because they have multiple. It's not just
one. Again, at the end of the day,
well, yeah.
Kyrie.
I'm just trying to understand.
Hello?
Keeps cutting out, Manny.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to start with me if anything. Y'all continue.
My boy got a next tail.
Come back in when you can, Manny. We're
I'm at the office, that's why. Signal is too
ah
choppy. Got that
Manny,
Bell
stop
Atlantic.
talking on the razor, man.
yeah. Don't tell him. Don't need you getting fired. We can't support you. Oh, we're gonna go to
I'm
Būrgh.
exempt from
Būrgh,
that,
you're
trust me.
up. Then we got from Brooklyn Netcast. Būrgh, go.
Hey, what's good, you guys? Good morning to the panel. How y'all doing today? All right.
Yeah, I'm doing good. We have breaking news also, by the way. No shocker. Russell Westbrook is exercising his $47 million player option.
Could
Good.
have seen
Stay away
that coming.
from me.
Could have seen that coming. I just wanted to talk about the Miles Bridges situation. Unfortunately, we're actually moving away from giving him the max. I've been watching to see what's going on with that situation very, very closely because I know we're trying to build our team and get back in the playoffs. As well as that, I think we're bringing back Marvin Bagley and Hamidou Diallo. We're letting a few other people go to create cap space. So anybody that's a Piston fan in here, just watch that closely. I also think we're going to address the veterans and move towards finding shooting and free agency. We're linked to Malik Monk right now, so I'm gonna see what happens with that. That gives us some nice shooting off the bench as well. And I think a lot of the fans want to see Brandon Clark in the Pistons jersey, which I would actually like as well. But we'll see what happens. The whole DeAndre Ayton thing is starting to move towards the Brooklyn Nets, which I think is just a Vegas thing right now. So we'll see if that catches any flames. But thanks for bringing me up. Just wanted to talk about what the Pistons were doing. See you guys later.
Pistons are having a low key, real good offseason, man. That Weaver guy, like a lot of people they didn't think he could do anything, and he's been able to flip the cap sheet, get young assets, and that's a good sign. Up next, we got Caleb from Brooklyn. Here, first round of shout outs at the top of the hour here. Iman Adan is in the building, part of the Best Femme Fatale podcast. If you don't know, you need to put it in your actual rotation with the Dishes and Dimes crew. You can also catch her on Yahoo Sports Canada and the Hoopstresses. Make sure you shoot her a follow. Mr. Anthony and the Bad Takers are in the building. Heat, 5 Reasons Sports. Go ahead and check that out. The Heat have here on the interwebs. We have the Cortland Christian and Chris Gross in the building. Rolo and Jose, 2 of the 3 hosts of 77 Spaces. Warren from day one. Nightingale, JFK, Jess. It's good to see you all this morning as well. Up next, though, a diehard Brooklynite fan here who's just ecstatic that Kyrie's opted in, and that is Brooklyn Netcast. Caleb, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. I couldn't be doing better. For once, I was happy to go into work today. It was a great energy there with Kyrie coming back. Very exciting, obviously. Excuse me. But for the Nets' plan this offseason, there's a lot that they're going to have to figure out. Obviously, I guess they're leaning towards Claxton coming back, and Bruce is might be the odd man out here. So I think we'll see Claxton on the roster. We have DDJ, David Duke Jr., will be on the roster. They exercised him, so he'll be on the roster as well. He was pretty solid last year for a rookie, too. I think he shows some real promise and could be in the future a Bruce Brown replacement type. So I see them letting Bruce walk because we don't need a 6'4" wing. We need bigger wings. And I'm really excited for free agency. I'm really hoping we go after Jalen Smith. He's my dream target. You do what you have to do. You get Jalen Smith on the team. And then a few trade options. Apparently, the Nets have been inquiring about KJ Martin, who'll be a nice bench guy. Depth. I think that'd be solid as a backup. Obviously his dad played on the Nets too. It's a pretty cool story if he were to come here. And then obviously Jay Crowder's not great, but he fits into TPE, and maybe they try to move him to open up some cap there in Phoenix to grab a center or re-sign somebody. I doubt it's Ayton, but those would be 2 targets I'd be interested in. And the only reason we can even talk about this now as Nets fans is because we know Kyrie's locked in for the year. And there's the whole thing, they can trade him still. They're not going to trade Kyrie Irving. and Kyrie didn't do this to get traded. So I'm very excited to see another year of 7-11, and hopefully we just stay healthy. But those are my big targets. Is if you can get them, maybe even look at I'd like to give Tyreke Evans a shot too. He's trying to get back in the NBA. It's just as like a 15th man. Just give him a shot, see what happens. But yeah, I'm very excited about next
This
season.
man put a cap on for Killian Hayes and Tyreke Evans in the same offseason. This is some disgusting shit.
It's a 15th man. I'm all for it. Like they're not role players. They're gonna be playing like 25 minutes a game.
Killian Hayes.
Yes, I have my thoughts about Killian Hayes. I think, like personally, how I feel about Killian Hayes is he would be the best passer on the Brooklyn Nets roster. We talked about this.
Yeah, I think it's also fair worth noting that a lot of this fan base is ready to burn Kyrie's jersey before 2 hours yesterday.
Me?
No, I said most of the fan base. Like, you weren't, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah. If everybody knows, I was the positive one that said he would be back. Even after yesterday, I was like, oh, yeah, he'll be back. 808s can vouch for me there. So I'm very happy he did come back because I had $400 on him staying. So I made a good amount of money yesterday off some really stupid people. So, I feel pretty good.
Left, it's not like he pulled a fucking Harden.
Okay, we will get into that another time. That is
no, we won't. We're gonna roast.
Well,
I want to wake up.
Emily, we can talk. Let's talk about it on
Jason.
Wednesday. We can talk about it on Wednesday. How does
Fine.
that sound? There we go. Thank you. But yeah, that's it.
Clippers. That they're pretty key, and like, what exactly are they able to do? That's the question.
Sorry, you lagged out. Really? Is it just me for him lagging, or?
No,
I thought it was me. Now you lagged out.
I thought it was me. That's why I didn't say nothing. But
yeah, Chris, can you repeat that? Nobody understood. You sounded like a robot.
Yeah, I was on the Belt Parkway. I was like, it's definitely me.
Swear to God, I thought that was my phone. Like,
yeah, me too.
Am I still lagging?
No, you're good now.
Yeah, I should have took today.
You got to repeat the whole thing, man.
Yeah.
No, where's Anthony at, man?
I don't, because we are still, for some reason, talking about Killian Hayes, and I don't need to repeat what I said because
respect Killian Hayes, please.
Respect Killian Hayes, great passer, good defender.
Respect. You said he was going to be the best passer on Brooklyn.
He would be.
Have you seen him pass? Do you think the Nets have good passers? I understand Ben Simmons is great.
You think Kyrie's a better passer than Killian Hayes? Come on now.
He's not.
All of you need to stop and realize that Kevin Durant is on this team.
I am aware. Yes, that is great.
Killian Hayes pass like
Kevin Durant is a great passer because he's Kevin Durant, not because he's a good passer, right?
He's a great passer. You're right. He's not a good passer. He is.
Yeah, I'll say this, and basically throughout, he goes on really good stretches where it's like, oh goddamn, he could be like the best playmaker on this team, will be just fine. And then there's a 5-game stretch where it's like, holy shit, like this man forgot how to play make. Good Lord, help me. That's the issue. It's like KD has 10 really good games playmaking, then 10 really bad games playmaking. So that's like the issue at hand. Is we need a consistent passer who can, run the offense to some extent as a backup. Like that's it. Like
all I know is Pascal doesn't have those issues, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, and Pascal Siakam also is. Well, he's great. I love Pascal Siakam.
He's an All-NBA player.
I'm not going to slander him. Yeah, but he's not Kevin Durant. But yeah. Is he a robot again for everybody?
Robot.
Yep, robot. Wee woo. I'll be taking hosting duties now. So I'm joking. There we are.
YC, what's up?
Listen, I was in here a while ago. I said this summer is going to be the year of the bag, not the year of the boar. Everybody's chasing their dollars. Kyrie was never going to leave $36 million on the table. He wanted his money. The fact that John Wall was bought out should have sent a message to the league to let everybody know that everybody wants their money. Nobody's going to sit here and someone said one day that, Russell Westbrook, he can settle for a 2 year something instead of the 1 year 47. He's not going to do that. He doesn't even want to be in LA right now. He's here for the money. If LA was smart, they would have bought him out so that he could have played somewhere else, but they didn't do that, and here we are. I love John Wall going to the Clippers because everybody's going to have this revisionist history and pretend like at some point in time in his career, John Wall wasn't a top 5 point guard. And no, we're not expecting him to be a top 5 point guard today. However, I feel like him and a healthy Kawhi Leonard and a healthy Paul George are going to do numbers for the league, and they'll be in the Western Conference Finals, probably going against, dare I say, the New Orleans Pelicans, who will have a healthy Zion, who will have a Brandon Ingram, a CJ McCollum, and dare I say, I don't know if Valanciunas is still going to be there, and I don't know. Jackson Hayes is coming into his right, so I'm going to start pushing some nasty, terrible agendas, and when they come to fruition, I want you to know, you guys thought I was a madman, okay? You guys thought I was a madman for saying that the Lakers were not making the playoffs last year. I was ridiculed. I was shunned in these spaces. Everyone thought that I was crazy, and it came to fruition. I'm just ready to see what's going to happen with this Brooklyn Nets team because I don't foresee for the life of me, I don't see Kevin Durant and Kyrie staying there this whole season. I think that Kyrie gets moved before the trade deadline. I really just see it. And if Kyrie gets moved before the trade deadline, Kevin Durant's not going to want to be there anymore. So this is going to be a beautiful season. This is kind of going to be like one of those seasons where, like, remember when Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis got traded in that blockbuster trade? Like, this is going to be one of those seasons where, like, it just comes out of nowhere. We didn't see it coming, and we're not going to see it coming. And, hopefully Kevin Durant goes to the Wizards to play with Bradley Beal. I would love to see the DC hometown hero go do something with another beloved DC individual who we have now adopted, Bradley Beal, as a member of the District of Columbia. I've also decided I'm no longer rooting for the Brooklyn Nets. Sean Marks has just ruined all of my banter for fandom. I just can't do it anymore. So, Hoops, on your next space, I will be, pulling out the hat and deciding what is called the decision of who I will root for the next season. So be sure you guys tune in next episode for the decision from YCDC College, and I will tell you who I'm rooting for next season.
Core.
Why does everyone think Kyrie and KD are like these inseparable flip-flops? I'm just so confused.
It's the craziest, most illogical, childish nonsense. And I wish it would stop.
Saying KD won't be pissed, but like if Kyrie leaves and they get someone else, he's good.
Do you think that Sean Marks is competent enough to get somebody else?
Hell's fucking yeah.
Hey, YC, man. When we roll up that list can beige pack, it's about time it gets smoked. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm not gonna hold you, bro. We're talking about the same Brooklyn Nets organization that can't do anything right. Like,
what are you talking about? What is this? I'm sorry, Chris. I usually just lay back and wait my turn, but this is bullshit, y'all. This is an organization that had 0 draft picks and 0 cap space a short 5 years ago.
And built it to neutral. And built it to what?
Where did that get them?
That's what we are. We're neutral.
We built it to nothingness.
Pod Thorn, can you tell me where that got you guys? You just said that as if you guys won like championships.
Yo, we care. Exactly.
Only
18 and 19 happened.
Championship in the last decade.
What's crazy is I watched the team. Wait. I just want to say this, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get booted for this. I watched a team where Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were sitting down injured, being led by D'Lo Russ, go to the playoffs and have the same exact outcome as a team with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant this year going against the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, nuance to that take.
Because we have a historical line stepper. You've never seen anything like the Kyrie circus. Never in life. This team, KD has played 90 regular season games. Kyrie has played 103. What are we talking about? Nobody was talking about the Nets 5 years ago. We were dead. And you flip-flopping dudes come in here and try to like create this reality that's not there.
Is that because you were a Knicks fan 5 years ago?
You
Facts.
dickhead. I was not a Knicks fan 5 years ago. I've been a Nets fan since the day.
Any Nets fan over the age of 40 was a Knicks fan 5 years ago. Stop the shit, man.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Root for the team that's not from your city? Be from Brooklyn, but be the Orlando Magic's fan? That's not the way this shit fucking works. They
It
came
is.
in.
You're a
Ooh,
grown man.
deflection.
You can decide.
Deflection.
You can
Well,
decide
my
whoever you want to
grandfather
root
did
for.
when the Brooklyn Dodgers left.
Yep.
You can
Listen,
definitely decide
my
what team you want to
grandfather
root for.
went.
And reach to the sky. Won't take a hold.
You can't mute and be a robot, dude.
Yeah, you sound like you regroup,
We
bro.
heard nothing that you said. I don't know if you were like downloading an iOS update or if your server was malfunctioning.
Chris was
Whatever it
brainiac,
was,
and his
yeah,
logic was
I
undeniable.
don't know what was. We were literally in the Matrix. We were all deciding whether we want to take the red pill or the blue pill.
Chris,
Like that's
take
how
another
bad
shot
it
at that.
was.
Chris, take another shot at that.
He's probably talking to us right now. He has to
He's
speak
saying,
through a
I
medium or
think he's
something.
trying to say words.
The space is probably gonna end out of nowhere.
It is,
Anyway,
yo. It's gonna end real soon.
Yo, homeboy's take was as ineligible as Chris is right now.
Body just spills coleslaw all over his phone. That's what
Oh, this is beautiful.
Chris, you
Now
are
we got 808s up here now.
unintelligible, my brother.
Hey, listen, I really don't care what you have to say about my intelligence.
I didn't say
Respectfully,
anything about your intelligence. I said that you were unintelligible.
I really don't care how you want to spin words. Like
It's not
respectfully,
spinning words. It's a regular old Webster's
Hey, listen,
dictionary word.
Pod.
What
Respectfully,
you're
I hope
saying
you
makes
have a
no
wonderful
fucking
day.
sense at all.
I hope you have.
Listen, man. It's 10 o'clock Central on a Tuesday. We talking basketball. It's not that goddamn serious. I promise you it's not. We're going to move on to Jose.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Chris. Say one more thing.
One more thing.
There we go. We good. Let's move to Jose and then Adam and then Evan. Get back
How
to the
long did
basketball.
y'all not hear me? Because I was really going into town.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's been about 5 to 7 minutes. We ain't heard nothing you said.
Oh, damn. That's a...
Yeah. I knew you were saying some good shit, too, because the meat was, long as hell.
That sucks. Yeah, do what 808 say, and then we got Evan Townsend and Adam from Locked On Nets, everybody. Damn. Space is effing up this morning.
I'm dead. I thought you were just MIA
I think
for a second.
Am I back?
I'm pretty sure Adam was here first. Go to Adam first.
Hello? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
got you back,
Chris.
Chris. We got you.
Jesus, now I can't hear the... This is awesome. Hey, whoever was next, go, and then, Cindy an emoji that you're done. There you go.
I think so.
Oh,
Give it to me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if everything's running.
Well, I hear it.
Totally.
Jose, Adam, Evan, whichever one.
All right, go ahead, Jose.
I already appreciate y'all. Good morning, everybody at Hoop Spaces. See, we're a little frenzy for some free agency, and it's gonna come soon. So we'll get our answers here in a bit. But what I wanted to say is I'm ready to see the situation resolved for Jalen Brunson. I think the Mavericks will be fine whether we lose Jalen Brunson or not. I can't wait to see if we get Gary Payton a second because I think he'll help on the perimeter in terms of defending guards so we don't overuse Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith. Other than that, um, I'm ready for DeJounte Murray to join up with Trae Young. I think that'll be an explosive backcourt. I'm not sure how and what else the Atlanta Hawks will give up in order to get DeJounte Murray. But other than that, I mean, I'm ready for Thursday.
That's what's up. Go ahead, Adam. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Sounds like you're having a smooth one.
It's something. I'm having something.
It's
I don't
happening. Either way, we're here, right? Either way, we're
Yep.
here. We're having it. I just obviously on the Nets piece, I think at a minimum, this was a pause button pushed, I think, by all sides, right? There wasn't a lot of landscape there for Kyrie Irving. I think that if it was feasible for him to end up both with a contract and on the Lakers, it would have been interesting to see. But I wouldn't be shocked to hear that like Kyrie does want to be in Brooklyn. He does want to stay on the East Coast. He does want to stay close to home. What I think is going to be fascinating now is you push the pause button on that decision. You open up the opportunity to finally see Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and Kyrie Irving on the floor together. We didn't get that sample size at the end of last season, so there's a enormous curiosity and excitement around that. But I also think that now this offseason, this year becomes a very short-term, all-in kind of scenario for the Brooklyn Nets, because what happens this year will dictate if Kyrie Irving is back on the full extension when you revisit it next offseason, right? If you have these three guys all on a very similar timeline. And I don't say that casting dispersions on the team or on those players, but now 4 years in to the journey, if this season doesn't work out for whatever the reasons may be, injuries, results, or otherwise, it's okay for everybody to kind of say, you know what, whatever it was, bad luck, jinxed, just could not seem to get it together. It's okay to then want to move on from it. And I think Brooklyn needs to look at what is a potentially big swing kind of move that they can now make in this free agency. And it is feasible to do so. That will strengthen and put them back at the top of the Eastern Conference conversation, back at the top of championship contenders, and also prepare potentially for a landscape where Kyrie Irving does move on after this season, or where maybe Kevin Durant does move on. I think that those things don't need to be mutually exclusive, but I'm sorry I didn't catch the young woman's name who was speaking earlier about the one thing that I'll note too is Kevin Durant, I think, was willing to say if Kyrie Irving had left by whatever means, he was going to be willing to take a step back and say, show me what your intentions are. How do you reconstruct this thing around me, and allow the organization to present that? If it didn't work out, we could have been talking about, as the season begins and as you work towards the trade deadline, now Kevin Durant can go and say, hey, I was here to see how it unfolded. It isn't going so well. Let's look to move on here, right? And those mechanics could be in place, but you avoid that. You allow yourself to get through this offseason. But again, very interested to see. There's a handful of names out there right now that are trade targets, trade discussions. People are talking about DeJounte Murray. There are 3-team trade scenarios that I think Brooklyn could start to get themselves involved in and make a significant shift. Because the one thing I don't think you can do is stand pat on whatever iteration of this roster you think is going to be there with Ben Simmons, Kyrie, and KD. I don't know if just Nicholas Claxton back, Bruce Brown back, right? Seth Curry and Joe Harris, and Cam Thomas, all these guys. I don't know if you can stand pat on that this offseason and feel comfortable or confident enough going into the regular season with this new, we'll call them the new big three there. So there should be work to be done here if you're Sean Marks and the Brooklyn Nets.
And you can also catch Adam on Locked On Nets. It's a daily podcast. You can catch it over on YouTube and where your podcast pod. I was a guest there, and I could tell you he's got it pretty well ran. He's plug and play. I love it. Question though, Adam, and to every other Net fan before we move over to Evan Townsend to talk some DeJounte Murray and Spurs. Like Beal, why are we not just saying, okay, this is really the move to make the move? They are now both opting in to secure their money, but they're also opting in, telling their team, now's the time to go ahead and set up for a potential trade based on the current salary rules, right? I wonder how much that is, Adam.
When it comes to Kyrie, I think too, when he was able to seek out the sign and trade, it just didn't look like anything was going to materialize. Like, I think as much as anything, he could have gone out through his people or otherwise and had these discussions with other teams, and whether it's the Lakers or someone else, and said, hey, you have a year to get your ducks in a row for me to be available next season, right? Now, it doesn't mean that something couldn't come up here in the short term, but it felt like the good faith gesture. Again, after the market did not look like it was going to materialize. It's a good faith gesture from Kyrie. And I think you afford yourself to say, hey, that wasn't the prettiest, but now we have the rest of the summer and into the regular season to feel better about everything, to maybe progress towards a contract extension, and make this a long-term commitment in Brooklyn. But in the short term, I don't know what team out there right now, and we had this discussion on the podcast, it's who's desperate enough, who feels like they are that one player away. You heard Dallas come out and say, we're not interested in pursuing a sign and trade for Kyrie Irving. Now, that can be smoke signals ahead of the official start of being able to get in there. We know tampering is just a part of the process. But that's as much a part of it as anything. Where are you going to go? Who is willing to commit that? And the Brooklyn Nets, who clearly said, we're not taking back Russell Westbrook on a opt-in $47 million year. We're not pushing pause for ourselves. So we need a package that represents us staying and being competitive, again, around Kevin Durant. We can't afford to say, hey, Kevin, we'll see you next season if you're comfortable sitting around for this entire year. So that's where I think, percentage, is there some percentage chance that opting in was obviously the first step of any part of a sign and trade? Yes. But I think as much as anything, the Nets were willing and wanted to keep Kyrie around here again, to get that sample size with Ben Simmons and Kevin Durant and make a move here in the offseason to improve the team. And Kyrie Irving, I don't think that he wants to be somewhere else. I think he would prefer that he is not right now one of the most polarizing figures in the NBA and get back to some version of it where he's electric on the court and everybody knows that. And who he is personally, which I cast no judgments on, goes back into the background. I think that is still what he would prefer as well. So that's where I think it ultimately comes to. It's just an opportunity for everyone to take that breath. And this, I would say Kyrie might have been better off immediately opting in as soon as he could have this offseason, because it immediately starts to turn the narrative. You opt in, you're not going to draw the line in the sand around wanting the extension. You're not going to opt out and sign an MLE with the Lakers, which, by the way, something Doug Nori brought up on our show was, don't think that the NBA, that the Players Association wasn't going, listen, you can't do that. You cannot start this version of the NBA where you walk away from $30 million as one of the best players in the game, because it goes all ways. Now, every player may look at that option and every team may look at it and say, just opt out, man. Come on, get over here for the MLE. We'll take care of you down the road. What's the problem? Kyrie Irving did it. So there's a lot of mechanics to everything that went on this offseason. This ultimately, I'm sorry to go long-winded, but this ultimately was the best version. When we talked about it when the offseason started, this was the best version of things, I think, specifically maybe for the Nets organization. But even in the short term, I think for Kyrie Irving as well. The opt-in, 1 year, let's reset everything on all sides and then see where we stand as the season gets underway.
I kind of agree. It's interesting, though. It really is. I put out a conspiracy doomsday theory yesterday that if he were to opt out, this is what would happen. He would sign for $4.5 to $6 million with the Lakers. The Lakers would then be able to hold off on exercising all team options, get all of the player options to hold off, process a sign and trade or a trade with the Indiana Pacers and the Brooklyn Nets, end up with like a fantastic team of AD, LeBron, KD, Kyrie Irving, and some random shooting guard. Ladies and gentlemen, like, people laughed, but I did this before. I put it out before he opted in because that was the scenario.
Well, and let me say, Chris, we recorded our episode when it was seeking a sign and trade, and then had to go back and re-record it within 4 hours because he opted in. And at the end of yesterday's episode, I did say it was like, hey, okay, the pause button has been pushed, and not hedging, but I was like, by the way, this is the first mechanic to get anything done anyway, right? Like, it's not that 1,000% full conviction there. And I even did mention, as you just said about KD, what could happen there. It was this very, very quick discussion of, well, if Kyrie were to be leaving and Kevin Durant were to want to leave, do we 100% know that there isn't something on the table where these two players still want to go play somewhere else together, and they just view Brooklyn as the failing of this opportunity, not necessarily as what they can accomplish together?
I put it up there, and that's actually the same train of thought that I had. We're going to move to Evan Townsend to talk some Spurs, DeJounte Murray. We'll hop back to Pod Thorn. We have Yerr. Want to give a shout out to All Nat. That's the great podcast. That's Nat Mitchell's the handle. The All Nat podcast you can find on YouTube and where your podcasts are, as well as you can catch her hosting the Hoopstresses Monday and Thursday nights. And like, I'm just happy she's here because she's getting to be super famous. So you need to follow her now. Next star for NBC Sports. What's up, Joe?
Chris, can I say something real quick?
Well,
I just wanted to address 808. And, saying I'm about to be 42 in 2 weeks. And this is my 20-year anniversary of being a Nets fan. I had never been a Knicks fan. So just wanted to say that.
Hey, Joe, I appreciate it, but I'm also sorry for your pain the last 2 decades that you chose. Sorry about that.
What was he supposed to choose? It's not like the Knicks was that good for 2
decades. Ain't you a Chicago Bulls fan, though? Ain't you?
Listen, the Chicago Bulls fan, I didn't choose it. They chose me, all right?
He chose the Mavs. The Bulls chose him, but he chose the Mavs. That's how he rolls.
Well, how about this? Once Jerry Reinsdorf opens up the wallet and starts allowing hot dogs to be $25, maybe we can talk.
Oh, that's the next conversation we're going to have tomorrow. Zach LaVine going to leave $57 million on the table.
Jesus Christ. I can't wait till this bullshit is over, Chris. It's been a tiring 2 months.
Up next, Evan Townsend. You can catch his words at Project Spurs. He is a dope basketball mind. He got into the draft so hardcore. He did a great job helping us, prime the draft and actually recap the draft. And he's going to be here to say, I'm over DeJounte Murray. I want him out of San Antonio, and I want him out now. Go ahead, Evan. Good morning.
Oh, man. Good morning, Chris. We can't just put words in people's mouths now. Let's give me a little 30, 45 seconds. I'm not going to take too long, I promise. Realistically, I just want to talk about the dominoes that are currently falling in the NBA when it comes down to the point guard market. John Wall, they figured out to not give him the full 47, just $40 million, signed, still delivered. $40 million, one of the richest men in contract history in the NBA, John Wall, and literally he's a Clipper. Kyrie Irving opts into his contract. Look at the BET awards. He was like, I don't want to answer this question. Pass it to my assistant. And people are saying, oh, hey, he's opting in to play 7-Eleven again. Oh, run it back.
That was his agent, by the way.
Yeah, that was his agent. Russell Westbrook, literally saying, "Oh, what was it? What was the song he was singing this morning right before it got announced? Hey, you can't knock him down off his vibe. 47 million he has now, right? So listen, I honestly truly think to this day there's another trade looming probably as soon as people are available to be signed and trade. What, a little over 40 hours from now? I don't have any insight. I don't have any knowledge of what's really going to go down, but if it could come down to a Kyrie being moved to a preferable team, but he just actually wanted to get his bag. If the bag was available somewhere else and it wasn't available for the $6 million that he could have been a Laker, he probably wanted to make sure he got his bag first before he got moved. Jalen Brunson, I still think he's going to get signed and traded for Julius Randle. The DeJounte Murray hip hop, literally, I just want this to be over. Literally, like how 808s was saying. I don't know what team he's going to go to. Apparently, the Knicks are now making a last-minute swing because the Hawks can only offer Gallinari and a bunch of high schoolers and first-round picks. So it's just like, I don't really know what's going to happen, but that's just what I wanted to mention. Just because people are making these decisions back to back to back all within 12 hours, that's pretty much looming for another deal to be had, not just them re-signing back to their team.
Hey, Evan, not the high schoolers, man. Come on, man.
2029 pick. What the absolute fuck does that do?
That's the 8th grader right now.
Seriously. Sorry, Chris, but what? Bro, come on.
Man. I wanna add in another team as well to the DeJounte Murray sweepstakes, ladies and gentlemen. The Boston Celtics should be added in there, as should the Miami Heat. There you go.
Tony was laughing right away. I saw that. I was like, "Yep." Tony with the laughing emojis.
All right, look, I'm telling you, people sleeping on DeJounte. Like, I really think he could put Miami or Boston
massively slept on.
If the Heat keep Bam and Jimmy, obviously, and obviously, Duncan Robinson isn't the most tradable asset with $19 million, but If they can keep that big three, DeJounte's literally pushes the needle for Miami to be unstoppable at some points in time of the season. Like they will literally be on pace to win like 70 games. Literally, like they'll go on like 18, 19 game win streaks. They'll be unstoppable at times. If DeJounte's there with Bam and Jimmy, and they're all healthy.
It just comes down to
I'm so
assets,
serious,
right? I mean that's really because Chris, I agree with you. Like Boston should be in the market for to put someone in the backcourt, but we're talking about 3, 4 first round. And I'm not saying whether it's worth it or not worth it, but that's the calculations that all these teams have to try to figure out, right? Is there player asset packages that we can do to acquire this guy if the Spurs want that much and still have all the pieces we need to be a championship team?
Well, I mean, I would look at it as Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson with multiple picks as the start, probably throw in Yerr. And maybe even Highsmith. So you get 2 young players, 2 players that can play right away, one that you can flip, and then multiple first round picks. That would gut Miami, but I like it. Mr. Anthony, you're up here. What do you think?
Yeah, I was laughing, honestly, Evan, at the 8th graders thing. I was just thinking about that, laughing about that. I don't. What you just read off as a list is, I think, why that deal doesn't happen. Right? Like it's a tough deal for an organization to make when they're hamstrung right now with cap flexibility issues. Like obviously they have both of their exceptions, but they only have one contract right now that is really tradable and is used as a team construction builder. And Duncan's contract is it. He's the only asset the team has. Giving Tyler up as a cost-controlled young player who's just 6th man of the year, it's a tough bid. Murray's one of those guys that you absolutely take the upside for. You try it if it's there for you. Evan, I don't think Miami has a competitive package when you talk about a team like Boston. As soon as they say Marcus Smart, I think it kind of takes us out of the equation. So it's tough for me to really wholesale on Murray and try and convince myself with a fit where I think there's some offensive issues with Bam and Jimmy on the floor. The defensive side of the ball, it's already kind of a prison in Miami. I think that's hell. That's maximum security, death penalty type stuff. But there's some offensive questions I would have about it. But I just don't think Miami has the assets to be a real player on that market, especially if the Knicks are talking 3 to 4 first.
No, I don't think so either. Realistically, I haven't even seen any report of even like a Minnesota or a Boston even being interested in DeJounte. It's really just been Atlanta and New York. It would be interesting to maybe like Toronto, Fred VanVleet, OG. We can maybe swap. There's obviously talks of Keldon Johnson. When I say talks, it's literally just like the Clutch effect. Clutch has a lot of chess pieces. They're trying to move on to the right team. People are quote unquote disgruntled, but not really saying anything. And a lot of this talk is just fans. Like if you look at DeJounte's comments, all of it is just jersey swaps of him and other teams, and there's really no valuable trade packages. Like obviously people can offer D'Lo and like 3 or 4 picks, right? But I don't.
Is this
D'Lo
not
a Spur? I don't
sorry,
think so.
Evan. Evan, is this not a perfect opportunity for Atlanta though?
I mean,
feel like
y'all are fumbling the bag, bro.
I've seen him floated to Atlanta, and I think it feels like Atlanta could maybe put together the pieces.
It should be Atlanta, just to be clear.
It should be Atlanta.
For both sides, it should be Atlanta. I think
the Spurs have a love affair with John Collins already. They've been connected to him for 2 seasons now.
Here's the thing. John Collins and Jeremy Sohan are one of the worst fits in terms of what do you want to see from Sohan. You want to give him at least 25 minutes right off rip. And John Collins, they're closing small ball fives, but that starting lineup, neither of them are centers. And so when Collins was quote-unquote off the table, we were trying to get Onyeka Okongwu. That was untouchable. Trying to get DeAndre Hunter. That was untouchable, even though he's kind of injury-prone. Jalen Johnson and a couple first-round picks doesn't push the needle. But a Gallinari, when you can buy off 75% of his contract, as long as you pull the trigger before midnight on Thursday, 75% of his contract bought out. I've never been a millionaire or ahead of a payroll of a franchise, but I'm signing that shit and giving all my minutes to my rookie, and then signing another MLE guy, Chris Boucher, Kyle Anderson, and saying, yeah, let's see if you can push into his best ability, man. That's your job for the moment. And at the end of the day, if we can trade for another 4, so be it. But there's no real pressure to quote unquote lose a trade. I'm hearing Spurs fans saying, "Why would we give up DeJounte Murray for all this, and dude, what do we just see Christian Wood go for? What do we just see Jeremy Grant go for? There's leverage when it comes to these type of intangibles with trades. You have to think of the relationship agencies, not agencies, organizations are trying to build with players, because players talk. If DeJounte has a real rough ending to San Antonio, that's going to be talked about for years. No clutch agent is going to sign with the Spurs. That's going to be a real rough end. Keldon Johnson's going to be out. And I'm just speaking from my heart here. A lot of other quote-unquote reporters, they don't want to tell you this stuff. They want to be safe. They don't want to get canceled. They don't want to get unfollowed. They don't want people's emotions getting tied. I'm telling you how I feel. DeJounte's literally poking the bear here with an organization that has given him everything he wanted for the past years, and you are tweeting like a high schooler, bro. Seriously, like this is beyond me, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, it's Kawhi 2.0. I want to get Yerr in here as well. Anthony's joined the stage. Killer Gaddafi's here, and so is Iman. Yerr, we'll go to you first. We'll go to Killer next, and then we'll see what Anthony has, and then we'll spend a few minutes with Iman from Dishes and Dimes. Thank you, everybody. Good morning.
Yeah, how I get skipped, Chris?
Oh, my bad. I didn't see. I thought you went when I was a robot.
That's what I get for waiting patiently. But go ahead. Everybody could go. I'm good.
Well, apparently Yerr isn't, taking his cue.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm ready to go here.
All right,
can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, perfect. Well, that guy Pat Thorn has me blocked, so his takes are definitely invalid. But what I wanted to talk about today was mostly just around accountability.
See, that's why I always have to disrespect Chris's bitch ass. I mean, these bitch ass niggas that come up here on Chris's show.
Yeah, I can't even see your takes. Goodbye.
But
what I wanted to focus on was actually, I think there's a lot of energy, and I want to bring it back to the Kyrie discussion a little bit, but there's just tons of Nets fans, and I think just like in general NBA media that loves to poke the bear and focus on one out of, the 15 players we have as a team. And I think a lot of the energy needs to start to be redirected towards management and how they are actually, taking our organization from, the hellhole that, Billy King put us in. And we give him a ton of credit for partially being able to dig us out of the hole. But if you actually think about how Kyrie and KD went there, they didn't even tell this organization. So they had no control in getting stars to this team. They had no control in keeping the stars on the team.
Preach.
So at what point do we start to focus the energy on our management, right? And anyone that works in, corporate, the corporate America side or anything along those lines understands that at some point, you can blame the individuals, you can blame the employees, but if the problem is continuous year after year after year, it's very easy to throw smoke screens and say, well, just blame, the weakest link, the easiest thing to, throw all the blame at. And I just think that, Nets media, every single member who's on here listening, I really think we really need to start directing our attention towards the decision that Shawn Marks makes. Players 10 through 15 matter. Look at Golden State. They love to claim we want to be the Golden State Warriors. Well, where's our development pieces, right? Where's our G League team winning the G League, right? I mean, where is this farm system of creating continuous talent that we can just shuffle in, shuffle out, regardless of the cap space we have available? And let's not even get into Joe Tsai's lack of willingness to really spend like Joe Lacob. So as much as this team loves to say, and by the way, like I'm New Jersey born and raised, been a Nets fan my entire life since Jason Kidd, right? I mean, as long as I can remember. I mean, I'm only 30, but at this point, it really doesn't matter, what the players are doing. I'm looking at ownership and management. And until they really start putting their foot forward and showing we actually care about winning, to me, it's just a bunch of smoke screens. And it's very easy to deflect us by throwing, Woj one little tidbit and say, hey, go run with this media and narratives. But in my opinion, I really think we really need to start putting the same energy we've been putting towards Kai, towards our management. That's all I got to say.
I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other Nets fans who agree with you.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
73% of the cap is tied up in 4 players. I'm just confused as to what else the team has to do to spend money on to make you think that they're trying to win basketball games. That's
Because
Aren't
I,
they
I, I
second in
was
the
just
league
gonna
in
say
luxury
that.
tax behind the Warriors and got a
Yeah.
first round exit?
I hear your argument about wanting to have players in the system and trying to find talent on the margins. I think that's a really good argument to make. But to put it in behind, like, they're not spending money, I mean, that can't be the case. They're spending a ridiculous amount of fucking money every year.
I get what he's saying. It's they're spending money unwisely. They're spending without.
Yeah, because Ben Simmons is making $35 million of your roster.
No,
But
there are
you can make
Like,
the case. Like, I
you
understand.
gotta stop using the Warriors as a point of comparison.
they're not.
That's very true.
Yeah, but Chris, they're the ones who tell us that they want to be the Warriors, right? So if you're the ones telling us we would like to be the Golden State Warriors, and to go back to my point, it's not necessarily just about the money spent. It's about building an organization that really is going to be sustainable from every level down to the top. And to your point, the salary cap is what it is. It's not, hey, we need an extra 10 million for one specific thing to make us a championship organization. It's, if you are actually a championship organization, you start by taking control. I agree with that. I think Kai goes off the rails a bit, but at the same time, show us more than, oh, it's always Kyrie's fault because of, he didn't want to take a vaccine, so our season went off the rails. I mean, it's just too easy for them to scapegoat Kai. And what happens? Okay, so Kai leaves in a year from now. We're still having the same discussions that I just mentioned around the margins, around building, a farm system, around building everything that really goes into making a championship organization. So that's all. And my main call out is let's just focus the same energy towards management as we are
When
towards
you're
Kai. That's all.
giving James Johnson 35 minutes a game and Kessler Edwards is sitting on the bench and outplaying him in practice and outplaying him in every opportunity he gets, and you're still playing James Johnson all the way to the last game of the season, you're mishandling your franchise and misspending your money. You're like, when you sign a guy like Paul Millsap sight unseen, not knowing that he's out of shape and not ready to play basketball professionally anymore, you're spending your money unwisely.
James Johnson played
Chris. They
19
ate a
minutes a
bullet for
game.
me, man.
I agree with the overarching argument here. The issue is that I don't agree with the minutia or the details. Like, the biggest problem is that they went in with the management vision that just wasn't going to work. Okay? Like, you can't go in there saying we want to be Golden State and then go bring in free agents as your principal team starters.
Never said that, Chris.
Golden State did. That's not what Toronto did. That's not what the Spurs did. All these teams that compete long term did something completely different. So, like, when I say that you can't use it, like, I'm not saying you, I'm saying management screwed up. They screwed up just opening their mouths and saying that. And then everything that came after is just that much worse because you gave yourself an improper comparison and you compared yourself to an all-time team.
Chris, I
It was just
promise you they've never said that. I challenge anyone to find the news report where Shawn Marks, with his own mouth, said to a reporter, we want to be like the Warriors. Show it to me.
Thorn, what was the first NBA game that Josiah attended after he bought the Brooklyn Nets?
Doesn't fucking matter.
Exactly.
So show me the fucking, show me.
Yeah, go back to rooting for the Knicks. Go back to rooting for the Knicks and being the worst NBA podcast ever created.
Man, I should have took another day off.
Listen, man. My only question is, we talking about all of this stuff about the Nets, and I get it. But at the same time, like, do you really need to say, hey, we want to be the Warriors? The way they've acted as a franchise, as an organization over the last 2 years, shows you, hey, we want to be like them. The entire league wants to be like the Warriors. They want to win goddamn championships. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Like, they say they want to be the Warriors. They act like they want to be the Lakers. I don't know.
Oh, that's nasty. Okay, Chris. Damn. Y'all clapping for that? That's crazy.
Weird, man. It is. It's weird. Like, they say they want to be the Warriors. They go get LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, they say they want to be the Warriors. They go
find DeAndre Jordan.
Like, my God, is DeAndre Jordan ever going to be on the Warriors? Never. Not even prime DeAndre Jordan would make it on the Warriors because they didn't want him.
Yeah, Nets fans fiending for Cam Thomas minutes. Like, come on, man.
Hey, you know what though? I actually like Cam. I think
I do too, but the fact that they're fiending for Buddy is crazy.
Chris, I challenge you to find an
let me give
article
you
where the
some
Nets
time,
said they
Pod.
want to be like the Warriors. The Nets have never said. They said, hey, we do things kind of like the Spurs. That's where we come from. That's our kind of role model. They're not like the Spurs, but they've never said they wanted to be like the Warriors. I've never come across any article. You guys know I'm Nets obsessed. I've never seen anyone say,
hey, yo, Pod, if I'm going to Shake Shack, it's a good chance I'm getting a burger, right?
Man, there's a lot of hands up. We're gonna go to Killer Gaddafi. We'll let Pod Thorn reply. We'll go to Adam, and then we're gonna move off the Nets, and we're gonna go to the Raptors, who nobody is talking about. Yeah, I guarantee.
Why should we?
Because they're gonna be a top 14.
Bro,
With Kim Birch starting at center, yeah, okay.
Oh, see, you just asking for violence.
That you cannot teach 808's Vision 6869. You can't. His team will never adapt to the current climate of the NBA. It won't.
Hey, yo, Tony, you speaking as a Kyle Lowry fan now. I take it with a grain of salt.
Stop. You go after the Raptors, and now you're going after Lowry? Like, what are you trying to do?
I'm just going after the,
That's NBA champion Kyle Lowry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mon.
Point to him on. Killer Gaddafi, Adam, Pod Thorn, and then we're off the Nets for at least 20 minutes, people. I want to give some shout-outs down below. Shout-out to Saint and Nets Kingdom AJ. You can catch Nets Kingdom over on YouTube. Real dope setup they have over there to get great people to come in. Jay from BK is here laughing. I don't see Brandon in here, though, so I guess he's watching a replay of the Mets game because, that's really all he does. He watches Mets. He talks about Yankees. The shit is weird. It's just weird. Shawn with the W is in the building coming up. Justin Padden is here. Big ups to the rubric. We're going to get you guys up. Next up, though, Killer Gaddafi, another Nets fan. And then we'll go to Adam, and we'll go to Pod, and we'll dead the net talk for at least 20 minutes.
Chris, you spicy today, man.
Dropping me further back, Chris.
I'm trying to give you more time. You would have had it if you didn't come up here and say something to get you kicked off the stage.
I know you let a lot of suspect characters up in here, Chris. We've been doing this too long.
Look, I am here to provide a forum for the voices. But I'm on YouTube now, powered by audiolabs.io. Like how I stuck that in there. And I can't have BAN running through my stuff. That's what got you booted.
Listen, that's my bad. I usually don't do that. But, we got some doomsday cult niggas in here. And
there you go again.
The Brooklyn comes out. I can't help it. I was born here. I was raised here. It's all I know. What you want?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be quick. Only thing I gotta really say about the Kyrie Irving situation is I was pretty much optimistic because I know some people were kind of killing me because I said I felt like dude had no leverage in this right here because of his value at the moment. There's a guy on Twitter called Mez. I'm not gonna curse, my bad. He broke it down greatly, saying yes, Kyrie Irving has max level talent, but his value right now around the league wasn't where anybody was. I'm put it like this: when Christian announced that sign and trade, that the Nets gave him permission, the Nets were basically just saying, "Yo, go find a deal." But the Nets still had all the leverage. They still had all the power because even if he found someone, the Nets still had to agree to a deal. Then 7 hours later, we find out he opts in. So, I always felt like this was all just negotiating and blah, 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 blah. Will we be right here in a year? Maybe so. But Kyrie Irving, there was no way I felt like this dude was going to take $6 million to go play for the Lakers and possibly end up risk becoming DeMarcus Cousins Part 2. So I didn't see that coming. Buddy that was talking about the Nets front office, he is right though. We do have to hold the Nets front office accountable because I heard it seemed like from a lot of people after Kyrie opted in, it was like, oh, the job's done. No, now it's on Sean Marks. Yes, Sean Marks and Joe Tsai had a united front against Kyrie Irving, but they didn't win. Now they have to go. Let's put it like this.
it's now their ship. Now they have to run it. They say KD's no longer recruiting players. All right, Sean Marks, now it's time for you to build a winning team. Can they do it? We'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna say they definitely gonna win the championship because I'm not gonna put too much faith into a team that got swept. They gotta show me something. Ben Simmons gotta show me something. The coach gotta show me something. The front office gotta show me something. This whole team has something to prove. So that's what next year is gonna be. But did you guys see the report from Shams talking about what the Nets offered Kyrie? Did y'all feel that was fair?
I mean, fair is not really a term that you're going to use in this type of trade, right? Like he's hurt his own value, so whatever the Nets could recoup is fair. That's why there was no sign and trade, right? Like
No, they were saying they offered him a 2-year deal, and the stipulations was the first 2 years, him playing the first 2 years was the next. I guess would guarantee the 3 and 4 year.
Well, I mean,
that was what Bobby Marks floated.
Yeah,
2+2.
The issue is he isn't tied to his production any longer. His value is now directly tied to the maintenance it costs to basically have him on your squad, and that's something that is unique. There's only a few amount of players in the history of the league that have had this type of situation. Like Oscar Robertson had it, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had it, Magic Johnson had it. Michael Jordan didn't even have this, y'all. Like, understand how rare this is. You have to be some ornery SOB to really put yourself in this juxtaposition. Anthony, go ahead, and then Adam, and then we'll give Pod some time. Then we're going to talk to Iman because she's dope, and I want to hear what she has to say because she's smarter than literally almost everybody in the room.
I think some of this thinking around the idea of what's fair and what's not fair isn't even part of the consideration when it comes to a player and his agent or a team. They're just trying to build the best book that they can, and the player's trying to get the most money he can. And what's really interesting that I feel like we haven't even touched on at all is the relationship that Kevin and Kyrie have, where Kyrie could try and execute this negotiating tactic. Somebody called it negotiating tactic earlier, but he used potentially declining the option to create negotiating power for himself, and Kevin helped. And I find that really interesting. Their relationship is extremely unique. Players doing that with each other has a lot of implications to me about what's going to happen going forward in the NBA. If the team wanted to offer him an incentive-based contract, that's it's the team's right. The team can do that. Kyrie has a chance to not to not take the extension. I mean, that's why he opted in this year. He wanted to keep all of his options open, and he got paid a fuck ton of money. So this whole saga has been really interesting just from a basketball standpoint. And I think when we write the book of basketball 3.0, whenever Bill Simmons gets 5 seconds to stop spewing propaganda on the internet and write book of basketball 3.0, the Kyrie chapter is going to need so much goddamn context. I don't know how you can tell this era of basketball without bringing him up and some of the decisions and moves that he's made. And sometimes the way that the nation reacts to him is really nuts. And other times it's really justified. I don't think Kyrie needed to come out and put out a tweet about normal people. It's just something we don't need right now in the current climate. But then again, his statement rings true. He's trying to find the best position for himself and for his family. And he's a weird character. I've been wanting to say a lot about him over the last 2 weeks, especially as I felt like the Nets might have been imploding and how much basketball, real basketball opportunities we might have missed if KD and Kyrie didn't, if they split up just like that. This whole Brooklyn Nets saga has been nuts. But am I the only person that finds it extremely interesting that KD came to Kyrie's defense in this case and tried to help him get paid or to help get him moved? I think it was always trying to get him the extension in New York, right? It was always Brooklyn.
Oh, I don't find it weird at all. He's just trying to help his guy win.
And if you add to that, he kind of is the reason why all this is happening in the first place, making the decision to team up with Kyrie. So, like, you got to go to the dance with who got you there, you know?
Also, I want to tell Killer Gaddafi, if he's back in Houston, the best coleslaw you can get right now is on the near north side at Pinkerton's.
You know, it's been a while since you've done this, and I'd appreciate it if you would stop.
Wait, what you know about the north side, Chris? What you know about the north side?
I'm telling you.
Okay, all right.
How does he sound clear, but the echo sounds like it's in an aquarium? That's the part that I'm not getting.
I'm echoing now.
No, you're not echoing. You're echoing through his mic, but you're echoing like you're inside the bottom of a tub, but he sounds clear. Technology's crazy, man. 2022, wild times.
Speaking of, water, my son won his first individual meet, like his first individual, whatever they call that shit. And absolutely hilarious. And, you know, I don't do like the proud dad moment. I was cracking up because, like, he's trying to emulate the bigger kids. And, like, when they win, some of them kind of like fling back into the pool. And as he flings back, he flips himself over backwards in the water. And he comes up coughing and snot coming out of his nose. And I had already stopped recording. I wish I hadn't. Anyway, you see, that's how we cleanse the timeline in Spaces. You just give a random oddity. Adam, close us out here on some net stuff so we can go move on to Iman and talk some Raptors.
Yeah, and I'll even this is more of a global NBA kind of statement. Everyone's talking about, you know, what the expectations are for an organization, what they need to do. You can look at Brooklyn as the example, the hits or misses on a year-to-year basis. Go back when they're getting, you know, Blake Griffin off the buyout market. Well, that's well regarded when it happens then. Fast forward a year later and he's not being utilized. Now you're questioning what that decision is. LaMarcus Aldridge, that was a good one at the start, but injuries, otherwise, things fall down a little bit around that. There's been obviously massive misses, some of them predicated on what the Stars want. But to look at Golden State and say, you know, one of their biggest values was when they suffered catastrophic injuries to key players, they still had their draft capital. So the idea of no matter what your process of trying to build up to be a championship caliber team, you need to be replenishing in the background, right? You need to be drafting some young talent that you want to build up for whatever inevitable possibility could come up.
But Adam, do you remember me and you arguing about the Harden trade and that you don't do it? I told you don't do that trade, but without the Harden trade,
you
have your draft capital.
Yes,
right?
Yes, Pod. I remember us having that discussion. But again, I'll still say, even after all of that, again, you do go and make that trade. So there's two different sides. There's two different components to this, and I'm just talking even just NBA globally, right? When you build up and you think you are this missing component away, or the organization makes a decision that says this is our all-in move, if it pays off and things don't happen the way they do around the Nets, well, they're in a deep playoff run and they're winning series and they're maybe pushing for a finals appearance, and that's correct. If it doesn't pan out that way and a random pandemic strikes and that creates rifts within certain players and then James Harden wants to leave, then you're stuck looking and going, boy, all of that draft capital that we sacrificed is now going to come back to bite us. But to Chris's point at the top, organizations that have successfully drafted in their superstar talent and then retained their superstar talent, those are the ones that are able to continue to turn things over in the background. The Brooklyn Nets weren't in that position to do that. They were in a position to showcase themselves as an organization capable of attracting superstars. And then once you landed them, you're kind of in a little bit of the old model of get your superstars and then fill in with the veteran pieces. And that's been proven to be very quickly shifting around the NBA landscape. And that's again, non-Nets talk. That is just a shift that we've seen occurred. You've seen how Boston had success. That is still their core that they brought into that organization. So that's the dynamic that the Nets have found themselves in. And then, you examine any organization and say, where are the hits or misses in the small moves you can make, the margin moves you can make. Jay from BK is down there. He'll tell you the lack of use around TPEs and spending the money when and where you can and doing it effectively and wisely. Like, this is why it's hard. This is why it's hard.
But Adam, you know that if you spend that TPE, you get hard capped. You can put yourself in a position to be the Lakers,
who I think after the 29th are hard capped and can't make any moves. What Marks likes to do is remain flexible. And if you look at the misses of the Nets, DeAndre Jordan, that was the superstars who wanted that. James Harden, that was the superstars who wanted that. Some of these older buyout characters, if it wasn't the superstars that wanted, it was the circumstances of getting rid of all of the young players. The Nets traded two players that are fringe all-star players. They traded Jarrett Allen and D'Angelo Russell, of course, in the process of making this, right? They also traded Karis LeVert. They traded the soul of the team, the spine, what got them there. And I thought it was crazy the whole time, but it was what the superstars wanted. And it just sounds so crazy to me now that when the team has kind of looked back at the last 3 years and said, this hasn't worked, we need to retain institutional order and get back to who we were and the way we used to do things, that now fans are saddling Shawn Marks with the things that he did to appease the superstars. And even up until now, we're all mad at Shawn Marks for not appeasing a superstar. It's the most confusing thing to decipher what the fan base is thinking of, and it's because we forget all of the incremental steps that
He's
got us
literally
here.
quoted himself saying that it's collaborative effort between him and the superstars, and that you would be dumb to not collaborate with your superstars in that regard.
Right, but
DeAndre Jordan was also a culture.
Even Kevin Durant now is
they
saying,
both
I'm
gave up
taking a
$5
step
million
back.
a piece to sign him. He was a bad signing. Here's the problem: is that Shawn Marks wants to decide now to draw the line in the sand.
Right, but when you try it one way, right?
You
It
can't
happens in
just
business.
decide to
I've
be
run
a good
several
parent.
businesses.
You
Listen,
got to be a good
let me
parent from
finish
the
saying what I'm
start.
saying, Cash, and then you can respond. I've run several businesses. You get into the market, you find out the market isn't what it is, and you make adjustments. You change. You let a larger amount of sample size in order to judge the return or how well the change made. They spent the last 3 years doing it their way. Now they want to reel it back in and do it and do it the way the organization has been doing it.
Okay, well, as a business owner,
all respect to your
as
businesses,
a business
Thorn, but your
owner,
business aren't an NBA franchise, bro.
when your business is mid and you think that your business is doing way better than you think it is,
what
and then
makes
you
you
hire
think
two
that?
employees that are
Did Shawn
better
Marks come out
at
with a
your
press release
business
that
than
says we're
anyone
doing
you've
great?
ever had,
That's
and
ridiculous, Cash.
that
Did Shawn
it's
Marks drop
not.
it? How do
KD
you
and
get
Kyrie
there?
are better than any two players the Nets have ever had.
So I've said that a million times, but what does that matter?
Dr. J says hi.
What's up, Doc? I'm a mute real quick because what's ridiculous was the contract that they signed Joe Harris to. Okay? What's ridiculous is the contract that they signed Patty Mills to.
What's ridiculous is the fact that all these reports of OG being traded out of Toronto, and then it didn't happen because we knew that wasn't going to happen in the first place.
And just on cue, 808 is giving me the perfect segue to introduce to you the voice of Raptors Twitter, Iman Don on Dishes and Dimes, ladies and gentlemen, Yahoo Sports Canada, basketball news, and part of the Hoopstresses. She is up, she is ready, and after her, we'll go to Domo, but we're going to go to her because as somebody who is a fan of a staple franchise, I'm sure she wakes up every day laughing at all of us. And I'm here for that. Iman, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for the kind intro and the kind words all day. I'm fascinated by the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, because I root for a team with a stable franchise. But the Nets to me have always kind of been the most interesting team experiment. And if it works, I think that that changes a lot in the NBA landscape, and it doesn't seem to be working. And I never truly, I guess I'm still sort of waiting to see because it's not done, and whatever's going to happen is not over. And the Harden trade, as soon as it happened, I was like, holy shit, are they going to Billy King this? Are they going to lose both of them? And are they not going to have any draft picks? And it really looked like that for a minute. And we still don't really know what's going to happen, but at least Kyrie opted in. So it's bought them some more time and, well, leverage, which is what they were sort of losing there. But to me, why the Nets are so fascinating is because we don't see this. And I think it was Adam who was mentioning this earlier. But every super team, and I think I want to do a video essay on this, and I haven't really fully fleshed out my thoughts. I've just been sitting here listening to Nets fans speak, but it's always fascinated me that, like, any super team that we're talking about, a superstar was already there. A culture had already been established. The team has their role players, they have their fringe guys, they have the system set up, and then they bring in additional talent, right? Whether it be Wade in Miami, bringing in LeBron and Chris Bosh, you still have Heat culture already there. That was for you, Tony. But you still have like Heat culture already there. Even super teams that don't work out, you know, Karl Malone, Gary Payton joining the Lakers, you still have your Kobe and your Shaq. So if that shit fails, guess who stays there? Your superstar still remains. So you're still holding on to Kobe. But the Nets were in a situation where they almost lost both the guys, right? And like it's like we still are not totally out of the woods. And the reason for that is like the Nets are no one's team. They just decided, hey, let's go to Brooklyn. But like it's not that Kyrie was drafted by this team and he developed, like that just doesn't exist. They don't have ties to the Nets. They wanted to live in New York and they were like, fuck the Knicks, rightfully so, and went to Brooklyn. But there's no, and you know, I guess he's from New York. One of them, what's his name, Kyrie? So like there's some sort of tie there, but like sorry, what did I say? New York?
He's from New Jersey, like most New Yorkers
Jersey.
lie and
He's
say
from
they're from
New
New
Jersey.
York.
He's from
You
New
said
Jersey.
New
He's from
Ark as like they were making an arc.
Okay, well, I mean, sure, that's fair. I'm Canadian. Anyway, so anyway, my point is the Nets are the weirdest experiment because they don't have that. And that's the issue that they're running into right now. Because one, when you don't have that established culture with your superstar, you have to sort of acquiesce to their every wants and desire in order to keep them there. You have to do Patty Mills signing if Kevin Durant sees him play in international ball and is like, that's the guy that we need. You have to build a team based on them. If it's a collaborative effort in terms of coaching, if Kevin Durant wants Steve Nash, that's the guy that you have to bring in. You almost have to just sort of be their bitches because they can leave at any point. This is not an established team. This is the ultimate experiment of superstar entitlement. And I wrote a piece for Basketball News on player empowerment and how that doesn't actually exist because 90% of players are not actually empowered to do shit. It's only the 10% of superstars. And so it's really superstar entitlement. And the Nets are the perfect fucking example of that. And so if it fails, it's because you can't really let the children run the team. Not to disrespect the players, calling like, oh, they're just not front office players. In the same way, I don't like coaches being front office people. We saw that fucking fail time and time again. You can't have players be your front office people as well. It just doesn't work that way. And when you let superstars kind of run wild and build their team and bring in guys and tell you to pay certain guys and bring in coaches and all this other shit, they still don't have any loyalty to
won
your
a
team.
championship being a front office person.
They still might fucking leave,
No,
right? Like
he's
there's
not.
still no loyalty there. So that's why the Nets are
He
like.
wouldn't sign his contract until Wiggins was signed.
Sorry, who?
Steph Curry.
Well, Steph Curry. Where the fuck is Steph Curry going? Like,
I'm just
when
saying
is that?
that every single
thing?
GM will tell you that it is a collaborative effort with your stars.
Here's the thing. I think that's factual. I think that's right. Like the Raptors lost Vince Carter, got traded to the New Jersey Nets because they did things like he wanted them to draft Wade. They draft Bosh. He wanted them to trade the pick initially before they were going to use it to get a veteran. They still draft they basically did not include him in any of the coaching decisions or anything like that, and he ended up leaving. I agree. You have to. But there is a different... If you're not seeing the net situation and if you're comparing it to Stephen Curry with the Golden State Warriors, I don't know what to tell you. It's a completely different scenario, but I agree. Superstars, you do have to work with them, but there's a difference in terms of the leverage that we're seeing here and the established guys. And also when you build a super team like this, you can't have the Jared Allens and the Karis LeVerts and all these other guys that were on the Nets. They don't stay because you have to move them to continue to bring in people. It just becomes a really expensive experiment, and I don't know if it's going to work. It doesn't seem like it's going to work, but they're the most interesting team in terms of team building, and I think the NBA is probably happy if it doesn't work out because that helps every team that's not located in New York, LA, or Miami. But the other thing, the reason why I came up here, honestly, is I heard someone say if the Heat got DeJounte Murray and played him with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they'd win like 70 games.
Don't
And
do
I
it.
like DeJounte Murray, But what? Like, their defense was not the issue. Their offense was the issue. You're going to bring in another person who can't space the floor, and you're getting rid of one of their floor spacers, multiple of their floor spacers to do that anyway?
Yeah,
Like,
this was
how
my
does
counter
that
argument.
fucking make sense? Their offense is going to be ass. Their offense is already ass. And now you're going to say, hey, we're going to, our three best players all can't fucking shoot for shit. And we're giving up any of our floor spacers to do that, to what, improve our defense, which is already fucking elite, and make our offense, which is the issue here, which is what they need improvements on, is that half-court offense, and just make that fucking worse. That doesn't make any sense. The Heat, I don't really understand them in the DeJounte Murray hunt. It doesn't seem like a fit at all. It seems like a leverage play. From possibly the Spurs, if there are rumors about that, but it just doesn't make sense. So whoever said that they would be a great team, what are we talking about? It's not fantasy sports, it's basketball.
But it would fit perfectly in the doubling down on offense's ass, though, right? Like,
sure, but we saw that shit bog the fuck down in the playoffs. They need something. Like, I think that, like, teams that are offensive first, like the Celtics and the Warriors were the two best defenses. They made the finals. The Mavs, as soon as they had a top 7 defense, they made the conference finals, and the Heat were one of the best defenses in the league, and they made the conference finals. So, like, any of these teams that are offensive first, I hope you enjoy the first round, because that's where your team caps out at. But you still need to have some. So, like, you can't give up all of your fucking shooting to bring in another guy. Like, the part of, like, the net rating with Jimmy and Bam on the court together, wasn't that, like, abysmal? Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's because they operate on the same area of the court. They need that sort of space together if they don't have floor spacers out there with them. And if you're gonna bring in DeJounte Murray, that shit's gonna be so clogged. It'll be bad.
OG, is he moving?
No, I don't think OG is moving. That has never made any sense to me. That's always, I mean, like, the teams that he's going to be moving to. Portland, yeah, we get it. You guys need perimeter defense. Who else have we heard? Utah, yeah, we get it. You guys definitely need perimeter defense. Denver, you guys need perimeter defense. Brooklyn, you guys need perimeter defense. So it's like, it's great that you guys want OG Anunoby, but it wouldn't make sense. Here's the thing. The Raptors have all of the leverage. It's not like OG's expiring. It's not like OG's leaving. He's got 2 years plus a player option. So the Raptors have no need to move him. That's not to say that he's untouchable. The Raptors will move him if they get a piece that they feel improves their team. There are lots of people who think that that means a center. That doesn't fucking need a center. They just drafted a 7-foot guy. If you guys are happy, they finally have a 7-footer on their team. But really, the big that the Raptors need, and why I don't think OG is going to be moved for a big, is the big that the Raptors need is a backup big who can play starter spot minutes against other bigs, right? So you need a drop big. We saw that. Even the Celtics, who were the switchiest team, they played a lot of drop in the playoffs. You need a drop big, and the Raptors don't have that. They couldn't really. I think they tried it sometimes, but, like, I don't even remember games where I'm like, oh yeah, the Raptors did. I mean, they did it a little bit with Precious, but he's still too small. So they need a drop big that they can play in for certain matchups. They need someone like even Aaron Baines, who was fucking disastrous for the Raptors. The only games that he was good in was against Joel Embiid, because you need a fucking center if you're going to go up against one of the best centers, arguably the best center in the game today. So I think they need a backup center, because for the most part, I think they're going to play a smaller lineup. But they need a backup center who can play sort of spot minutes. I kind of like a more traditional lineup, honestly. The 5 out didn't really, I mean, 5 small guys, I'm not going to call them 5 out because half of them don't shoot. But the smaller guys didn't always work, but I do think that that's what the Raptors are sort of sticking to and what they're building towards. And defensively, it should be a treat. But now that they brought their 7-footer, who's 22 years old, first-round pick, I think they're going to try him in that role. And, I think the noise of a center is just going to be kaput, and the noise of OG moving is going to be kaput, because there's all these reports that, like, he was unhappy with his role and he was complaining about his role in March. He was injured in March. Like, he wasn't playing. What role was he supposed to have? He couldn't even get on the court. And also, these idea that, like, oh, he doesn't like his fit with the Toronto Raptors offensively, or he doesn't get enough touches. The Raptors are not a team with a superstar that has like 30% usage, right? Like, nobody on the team has 30% usage. In fact, they're just like a more collaborative effort. That's how they fucking score. because they're putting up a lineup of a bunch of 6'9" guys, there's always going to be a mismatch on the court. And that's how the Raptors play offense, is like they're going to attack the mismatch. And so in certain situations, quite often, Pascal draws a double or Fred draws a double, and that leaves guys like Gary and OG open. Those are your sort of third and fourth options. It leaves them open. OG is the best post player, and if you got two guys at Pascal, you got guys at Fred, OG can often has mismatch down low in the post. He's the best post player on the Raptors, but it's also oftentimes going to be a mismatch down there for him, or he's wide open on the perimeter hitting open threes. Like that's how he got that was his bread and butter. Like he walked his way to 18 points a game for the most part, being the third option and just like kind of getting open looks around the perimeter and mismatches down low, and that works for him. So like the idea that he isn't happy with his role on offense, it's like there's going to be some nights where OG has the highest usage on the team, and there's going to be other nights where it's Fred or Pascal or Scotty. More often than not, it'll be Pascal, but considering how much defensive attention he draws, OG, we saw it in the playoffs quite a bit. He is going to be a go-to guy for the Raptors. So it doesn't make sense to me that he would be unhappy in his role here, but then looking to a team like the Portland Trailblazers, who has Dame, who is your 30% usage superstar, who has Anthony Simons, who is taking over that CJ McCollum role as a secondary scorer and has a high usage rating there too. You have Jeremy Grant, who thinks he's Kobe Bryant and is going to obviously take up a lot of offensive possessions. And you have Yusuf Nurkic, who is your center that, is one of the top centers in the league in terms of usage because he is a great offensive player. So like OG automatically slots in as the fifth option for them in Portland. So would it make sense to me? It feels like a lot of noise coming in from other teams and not so much from the Raptors. And also just the last point on OG Anunoby, he's been in Toronto for almost the entire summer. Every report I've been hearing, sightings that I've been hearing is him in Toronto, him at the practice facility, him hanging out with Scotty, him hanging out with Pascal, him hanging out with the team, him going to draft workouts as they're bringing in like first round picks, potential guys. So like he's been so in the team and in the city that like, what are we talking about that he wants out and is disgruntled and not happy with his position or his role here? He's been hanging out with the dudes all summer.
Yo, hold on.
I just
Hey,
wait.
All right.
I wanted to give you a chance to address that because OG's like anything with the Raptors starts with OG, and I was just sitting here like, why would they want to move him? Because I wouldn't. You don't have a replacement.
They don't.
All right, I'll get you up in here, Nikobelick. Don't worry, but I got other people who have been waiting patiently. I want to thank everybody who's popped in. Welcome, thank you. You could be anywhere, but you're here. We're all grateful. Everybody up on stage is an awesome creator in their own right. So I suggest that you go ahead and take the time to shoot people a follow that provide value. And if you didn't get any value from Iman speaking, then you can leave the room. Because
yo, Chris, did you really open that segment up by saying the Raptors would be a top 4 seed?
Yeah.
Top 3.
You are
what are you talking about?
Disgusting.
Let's go.
Put some money up. Put some money up. Put some money up.
Please put some money on that.
Let's do it. Let's
put
go.
some money up.
No,
bro, they're lucky to make the top 6.
Hold
on. Can I just say really quickly? The Raptors were the fifth seed last year. Oh, so then moving up 1 seed is like that disgusting.
Money up.
The fifth
Talk
seed.
is cheap.
I mean, considering they weren't in the top 6
I
for the majority of the
I'm
season.
Muslim, so I can't bet. But I would, and I like.
Put your loony and your toonie where your mouth is.
I'm willing to. Here's the thing. I'm already calling it. I called it. Last year, I said the Raptors are going to be a 5th seed. I said it on radio. I said it on TV. I said it everywhere, and everyone's face was like, this bitch is crazy. And what were they? How did they finish? Where did they finish? Thank you.
I said they would be a 6th seed, and they finished 5th. I think they're a top 4 team.
First round is cool.
Put your
Congratulations,
money up, Chris.
First rounders.
When have you made the bet, Shawn?
Listen, I didn't see the Raptors fans tweets. Y'all are really expecting Gary Trent Jr. to recreate what he did last season? I don't see.
No, I expect them to be healthier than they were last season.
Okay.
What about the Nets being
hold
healthier
on,
than
Chris,
last season?
Because it gets tired.
You can't. But 808s, you can't sit there and doubt the development of Scotty.
Everybody
Barnes,
was
man.
unhealthy last year.
Can't do it.
I think they're more healthy than last year.
Lonzo Ball played 30 games. Did y'all shit on that dude the entire season? I'm not trying to.
I didn't. I thought he did great until
he had a good season.
Hey, yo, the revisionist history is crazy. We can move on.
This is nuts. 808, I sat there all year.
Oh, I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about
in
Chris.
back
Chris
here.
said a lot of shit about Lonzo, but we know.
What are you talking about?
This is
I
nuts.
said
He's
he
on
fit
Chris,
perfectly
he's
in
on a warpath.
Chicago.
He's on a
You
warpath.
said that man can't make a layup if his life depended on it.
I did not say that.
Oh, I said that.
It's true though. It's kind of true though. No,
I didn't say that. I said that
I
he wouldn't drive in and score if the opportunity availed himself because he wants to set up his teammates.
Yeah, he's a 3-and-D point guard with good passing. He just has no drive game, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
He's
Domo.
allergic to the rim.
He's the opposite of Colin Sexton.
Oh, wow.
Hey, real quick. Colin Sexton is the guy that everybody should be going to get. Like, the dude walks into the Brooklyn Nets locker room, slaps Kyrie, and says, lace him up. You're going to get buckets. And he gave him buckets. Like, that
Chris, I told my fellow Knicks fans that before. Shawn, a.k.a. Shawn, Shawn said he don't want Colin Sexton, some shit, to the Knicks. I would love Colin Sexton right now. Jesus Christ.
The next voice you're going to hear is going to say, God bless Greg Popovich. Domo, good morning.
Come on, Chris.
He gave him
I
no
made
warning.
it. I made it. I made it. I made it. Don't do that.
Well, you make something all right.
Yeah, man. Listen, God bless everybody. Pop, Becky. But I actually want, first and foremost, listening to a whole bunch of like poverty franchises discuss like bad basketball decisions and areas. The only thing I want to say about everything I've heard in the last like 45 minutes about the Nets and Kyrie is that everyone ain't that guy. Like, I understand everything that Amanda is saying, and let me say, you're absolutely right about building culture, about drafting well, about how you have to have star players who in strong front offices that can build talent organically, and then you add star. That being said, everyone doesn't have Asadi Ujiri. Everyone doesn't have RC for the Popovich. Everyone doesn't like have God. I don't know why the president of basketball operations in Miami, Pat Riley. I think a lot of times we recognize the skill gap amongst players, but we don't necessarily recognize the skill gap amongst GMs, scouts, owners. Everyone isn't Peter Holt. Like it is not about spending money like the Lakers or the Nets do. It's about actually being an owner that can hire a good GM, can hire a good president of basketball operations, who can take a step back, who can leave it alone and allow basketball people to do basketball things, and they handle whatever the heck owners do. There's a skill gap amongst ownership, amongst general managers, amongst coaches, and amongst scouts. And yeah, like the Nets, like Shawn Marks just ain't Archie Buford. So yeah, like listen, you gotta go just give KD and Kyrie whatever they want because you can't draft KD and Kyrie. Like you don't have the ability to draft those guys. Like you do not have the skill set to scout, draft, develop, and retain that type of talent in your organization. And you have proven across decades that that's not something you can do. You might be able to draft it on occasion. You might be able to put together one run or two, but you cannot maintain consistent excellence for 30 years like you have seen the Spurs do, like you will probably see the Warriors do, like Miami has done, like I bet Toronto will do for the next decade or so. You're not that guy. So if you get the opportunity to get a star player and you have to roll out the red carpet and trade away good young players and do whatever to keep them and maintain relevancy, you do that because it's not always about championships as much as it's about maintaining relevance. And the Nets were frankly an irrelevant franchise before KD and Kyrie went there. And if they choose to leave, they'll probably go back to being moderately irrelevant unless they get lucky and draft a superstar and find a way to maintain some type of culture. That's not really what I want to talk about. I just wanted to acknowledge, listening, y'all go back and forth like Shawn Marks just has the ability to build culture. Like that's just something he can just you can just pull out your butt. Like that's not how that works. That being said, I actually came up here really just to give Evan his credit, man. We talked back and forth like months ago about future defensive player of the year, Jeremy Sohan. And you was right, my brother. What can I say, man? I had different guys that I liked. You called it literally months ago. I'm extremely happy with the pick. So yeah, man, I just want to tell you, Evan knows everything he's talking about. When it comes to like Spurs stuff, don't listen to anyone on Twitter, because it always fascinates me that like no one like there have been maybe 2 reports about the Spurs that like have leaked to the media that were actually right over the last 15 or so years. And it always just fascinates me that people talk crazy about San Antonio. Like, we are the tightest lipped organization in probably basketball, but everyone knows what's happening in their backyard. Last thing I want to say, and I didn't think about this before y'all brought him up, Colin Sexton has been rumored to the Spurs for the last month and a half because there's a connection between his college coaches in San Antonio. He played at Alabama when Avery Johnson was the coach. Pop and RC have been very open about how much they like him. And if I remember correctly, and Evan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, there was like actually even talks of them trying to trade up in that draft to get him. What was that? I think that was the 18 draft, 19 draft, something like that. So everyone's talking about make sure that Colin Sexton in San Antonio is a possibility. Not calling it, just saying that there have been a lot of rumors in the guard, and maybe they think they can get Sexton. That's why they wouldn't consider trading DeJounte. And to the Miami shit, listen, man, I'd take 4 picks in a white shooter. Send them over.
Hey,
Chris, listen, man. I know the Congress ain't got term limits in Who Spaces, man.
Are you serious? Yo, y'all let Cash and Shawn talk about the Brooklyn Nets for 45 minutes in Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving.
We
Y'all been
don't
talking
care
about
about your
Kyrie going to LA and he's not
franchise.
Y'all been talking about Kyrie Irving going to California and he's not even vaccinated. I hope.
Hey, Domo, we talk about teams that make the playoffs, buddy. Yours didn't.
Boo.
Did you mute me? Hey, 808. I'm at Lifetime North Dallas in about 2 hours. You got to come get a bucket from me. Come get a bucket from me. I know you in Dallas. Come get a bucket from me. You can have my guest pass. I'm gonna put the video up. I'm gonna send it to Chris.
Down the challenge.
I'm gonna give you a bucket. I want
hey, yo, Domo, I'm off for 2 hours, bro.
Everybody, I want some buckets from.
You see what happened? Now we got Texas on Texas violence, man. Like, damn.
Like I said, man, send me the Addy. I'll pull up in 2 hours.
Oh, hey, I want a video and I want pictures. And I want Shawn to talk New York Knicks. Good morning, Shawn.
Why are we talking about bottom feeders,
Chris? I
Chris?
don't want to see New York Knicks. I have a meeting in 5 minutes. I'm just going to say, look at the Jumbotron. The fact that we got certain franchises out here looking down on other people, like, please, like, let's settle down. Let's settle down a little bit. Like, Toronto, Greg Popovich was petty and sent them Kawhi Leonard, and now they're a modern stable franchise. Please, let's settle down.
Time the fuck out. Can I interrupt that? Because the Raptors have the best record in the Eastern Conference Finals prior to getting Kawhi Leonard.
They tussling.
They squabbling now.
LeBron owns Toronto.
Wait, how does that happen?
LeBron owns Toronto.
Hold the fuck up.
All right. We're going to let Iman and Shawn go at it. That's Iman and Shawn. They have 2 distinct voices. I actually can tell the difference. I don't know if y'all can. One sounds like a woman because she's a woman, and one sounds like a man because he's a man. Like, that's all I need to hear. Like, I don't need peanut gallery. This ain't, Sesame Street. Iman, go ahead.
I'm just saying the winningest franchise in the Eastern Conference since 2014. Kawhi Leonard was there in 2019. So please tell me, when we're talking about stability, we're talking about Pascal Siakam being 2 times All-NBA, one time All-Star. He should have been an All-Star this year too. From the 27th pick, we're talking about OG Anunoby as a 23rd pick. We're talking about Fred VanVleet as an All-Star and the highest paid undrafted player. We're talking about building a team, developing a team. So they've been, like I said, the winningest team in the Eastern Conference since 2014. And the reason why that's sustained to today, the reason why that's continued is because their drafting has been impeccable. It's because their development team has been impeccable. It's because they consistently go out there and win. win. So to pretend that it's just like they won one championship, they were irrelevant in the past and they're relevant in the future. Yeah, that's because you're fucking American and Americans can't look at anything outside of their own fucking country. But beyond that, if we just take a moment and fucking pause, we can see. No, but like, just here's the thing. Like, it's fine that they're quote unquote irrelevant. That's totally fine. Here's the thing. I'm fine with this idea of like they're irrelevant. I get that they're the one. Hold on, I'm just gonna say it's fine that they're irrelevant because they're the quote unquote one Canadian non-American team. That's fucking fine.
Said they were
but here's
irrelevant.
the thing. No,
you're just in your feelings. You're just in
no,
your feelings.
Hold on, Shawn. No. Here's the thing. I'm not in my feelings. Let me pause for a second. You didn't say that they were relevant, but you said why are they a model franchise because Kawhi Leonard was traded to them. That means you're discrediting everything that happened prior to 2019 and everything that happened after. They won more games. They were a better they literally lost Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard from the starting lineup and still posted a better defensive rating and a better record the year after. It's unfortunate that the bubble came around and people got injured and Canada had fucked up lockdown rules. It wasn't fucked up, it was to help people. But whatever, besides the point. But this idea that like, what else have they done? Consistent success, consistent winning, and consistent development, which is something that every other sorry-ass team in here just doesn't actually have.
I think that's irrevocably false, but keep going.
They only won one championship.
How is that irrevocably false?
Wait a minute.
Have they not developed guys? Have they not drafted guys?
I mean, you said that the Raptors are the only team that does that, and they're not. I mean, there's most.
No, but okay, hold on. They're the best at it though, because
they are not. They've won one championship.
No. We're talking about within the. I'm talking about.
And you said since 2014, and I'm talking about since 2014. The Warriors have 4 championships.
I'm talking about in the last 10 years. I get that you're a Bulls fan, so
the
90s basketball is what we're doing because your team also kind of plays like that till today. I get it. But,
I mean, not really. I'm just speaking facts. You said that the Raptors only team that actually developed well, and they're not.
Aye. She said Eastern Conference people.
I don't care, Chris.
You can't come in here and then talk about the Warriors when she clearly said
Eastern. I also said 2 other Eastern Conference teams too. Were you listening, bro?
But Toronto's been better.
Hold on, time out. Who are the 2 teams? Because we're talking about development and drafting. So who are the 2 teams?
Miami.
So Miami has drafted better and had more consistent success since LeBron.
They have more championships.
Hold on, time out. Can I just say one thing? Since LeBron,
you said one thing for the last 40 minutes.
Hold on. Since LeBron James left, they won. Since LeBron James left, they won 50 games one time this season. So continue.
And we missed
Miami.
one playoff.
How many trips did they have to the Eastern Finals in the finals?
Let's pump that brake a little bit. You can't use championships against us and then for you. Like that doesn't work.
Wait. You cannot. There's one franchise that you cannot look down on. It's Miami in the Eastern Conference.
I'm saying they won one 50-point game since 20. They've had one season where they won more than 50 points. 50. Why can't I fucking speak? Where they won 50 games since LeBron James. So like no, because my point is like Miami's good at drafting and good at developing.
But not that.
Like
we started 4 undrafted players.
Chris Bosh had blood clots
multiple fucking times. What?
But like I don't like that. I don't like that LeBron stat about how many games they've won since then because it ignores everything else. It ignores Dwayne Wade being injured. It ignores that Chris Bosh had blood clots. Like that wasn't just
but that's also a couple years.
If you could choose,
and they still only missed a playoff one time since then.
I'm gonna actually bow out this argument. Hold on. I'm gonna bow out this argument because you can hold yourself on your own. I really only came in actually to say, can we not, when someone is spitting facts, and Imam put out a lot of facts and numbers, respond and say like they're just being angry and in their feelings, especially not to like a Black woman. Like I'm not trying to hear that. So like y'all can respond with other stuff, but can we not go to the angry and all of that shit? Because she doesn't sound angry. She sounds passionate, and she's stating a lot of numbers and facts. So if you want to refute what she's saying, refute her on the facts of her argument.
No, she had some shots in there as well. That's why I said
that. Yeah, but I'm just saying, she's not calling anyone angry, so we don't need to respond.
No, because honestly, I'm gonna say this, and that I understand where you're coming from. I'm very protective.
I just don't like the angry talk. That's all.
No, I understand that, but at the same time, when I make one statement and you start yelling for 5 minutes, I'm like, yo, dog,
she's not yelling. She's just passionate.
I didn't hear anybody yelling. That's fine. What I'm saying is.
Oh, hey, Regina.
Hey, no one was yelling. No one was yelling.
All I'm saying.
Can he finish or not? Like, come on, bro.
I'm just saying. Like, no one was called angry. No one.
Come on. Like we're not gonna keep doing this, man.
I got
Let the dude finish and we can get over it. Like, come on.
I've had to take my headphones off like twice, y'all.
It's not that serious. It's basketball.
Okay. What we have is different communicative styles, right? I've talked with Iman for over 2 years. She's not angry. This is how she speaks. This is normal. She's extremely focused. She's extremely passionate, and she talks extremely fast. Right? That's it. Like,
I get that, Chris, but people should also be allowed to speak exactly how they were spoken to as well.
Right, but the issue is that she started because she was being interrupted. I actually said, if y'all would just let her finish, this doesn't happen. That's where I'm at. Like,
you mean talk about the Raptors for 45 minutes, like straight? Because that's what that was.
We could, because like they're good.
We already did. Shit.
Anyway, now I would like Shawn to reply.
I never got finished. I never finished my point first. She interrupted me. And for the record, Iman, I have no beef with you. I love your passion. I'm not saying I'm mad or angry at you. One, I didn't finish. Two, the reason I said that is because you said that I thought you were irrelevant because we're fucking Americans. So I'm like, once you do that, then all bets are off. So you're telling me that I don't understand.
And there's no franchise down bad worse than American.
Yeah, what the fuck mean because you're American?
Right? So that's why I said that. Because I'm like, yo, don't say well, because I disagree with you because I'm fucking American, I don't follow basketball outside the United States. That's not fair. My only point is this. Everything that Iman said is absolutely correct about their record and things that they've done and their drafting. What I'm saying is, in this sport, especially on social media, in this sport, perception is 9/10 reality. And if the Raptors don't win the 2019 championship, they are viewed differently. That matters. And you can't say it doesn't matter because there are teams that draft well, that have been good for years. Utah was that for like 30 years. No one thinks of them as a model franchise. So that's why I'm saying, like, we have to put in context that, like, the certain things that happened contributed to that. And for me, I think when there are certain franchises that can talk a certain way because of the success they've had. I don't root for one of them. That's for damn sure. But some franchises can. So when other people franchises, it's just like, come on. Especially like that's all. That is all. But when you say I don't understand, like it's one thing if you disagree, but when you say I don't understand because I'm fucking American, I can then clearly we have moved away from basketball and we move to other things, and then you can't get mad when I say you're angry. Because I didn't talk about you being Canadian. I would never do that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I just say I never got mad at anyone for calling me angry. I'm fine with. I think it was 808 who said let people speak to whoever at the same level that they're speaking at. I have no issues with that. Like that's fine. Like I grew up in the hood. We yell at each other. This is how we fucking communicate, and no one's mad at anybody at any point. Listen. So
agreed.
So I just want to say this. Even comparing it to the Utah Jazz, here's the difference, and I'm focusing on the Eastern Conference. I get what you're saying about championships brings about a certain. Like that's the goal every single year, but only one team wins a championship. And if you're not the Warriors and you're not LeBron James, you're very rarely winning an NBA championship in the last decade or so, right? Like I think that's fair to say. I think we can all say that. Now, what the Raptors have brought that I think puts them into a model franchise is they've been able to compete. They're not even putting them in the Utah Jazz or whatever else territory. It's not like they're like regularly a 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. They're regularly a 1 seed or a 2 seed. They've had the best record and the winningest. They've been the winningest franchise in the Eastern Conference since 2014, which is a long time. That's what 8 years. That's a long time of success of being at the top. Now they didn't make it past. They didn't make it to the final goal until they got Kawhi Leonard, which is fair. I think there are lots of issues with the team build that they had, particularly trying to build around a guy like DeMar DeRozan. And once they moved past that, they were really great. And then they went into a rebuilding year. Then they went into the rebuild, which was a 1-year rebuild. But here's the thing: beyond just winning, because that I think points to success, right, and a successful franchise. Beyond the winning portion of it, which is good, it's the development and the drafting, right? Like Pascal Siakam has the most accolades from anyone in the 2016 draft class, and he was the 27th pick. Fred VanVleet has the second or third most accolades of that draft class, and he was undrafted in that year. OG Anunoby was the 23rd pick, and we're talking about trading him for a 7th pick, and the Raptors were like, no, that's not enough, right? Like, when we're talking about the Raptors drafting and development, we're talking about them picking from the bottom of the barrel. Yes, the Heat have been really good at that, but like Hassan Whiteside is not worth no damn 7th pick, right? Like he's not getting paid the most. He didn't draft him, I know, and he was also on the Raptors G League team and all that other shit, but I'm just bringing up a name. Like, and also, yes, the Heat have had sustained success, but we can't also ignore teams like 2016. We can't ignore them giving the bag to James Johnson and giving the bag to Dion Waiters and giving the bag to now. It's continued with what's the white dude's name who looks like the character from Jimmy Neutron, Duncan Robinson.
We're not the only asset that we have. That can't be the
We
guy
can't
we attack.
like here's the thing, like there's a lot of like Pat Riley has multiple championships for a reason. The Heat have been the Heat for the reason, and they have the ability to do both, draft really great and attract really great free agents, and that's what's brought them sustained success, right? That's great, and that's fine for Miami and like perfectly good and all well, but like to even say that they've been better at the Raptors in that in the last 10 years, I just don't think that is 10 years, not counting Wade and Bosch and Heatles, 2014 onwards, post LeBron James. To say that they've been better than that, the Raptors, like we can go 1 for 1, and I just don't think we're going to keep up. They haven't had the winning success, and they haven't had the drafting success in the same way, like as a 1 for 1 compared to the Raptors. I think they've been really great, but I think it's fair to say the accolades prove that, the records prove that it's fair to say that the Raptors have been doing that. And yes, they got Jimmy Butler, and they took Kyle Lowry from us, and like all this other shit. Yes, they're great, but in terms of drafting and development, they're one of the best to do it. But the Raptors have proven to be better considering the guys that they have.
I actually am agreeing with Iman here. It's not even close.
Shocker.
It's not close.
No, but you can do a 1 for 1. Whoever said shocker, please do a 1 for 1. Do a 1 for 1.
You want to say it's debatable? That's fine. For you to say it's not close is nonsense.
Okay, all right. Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam, DeLon Wright, Terrence Ross, Jonas Valanciunas versus Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. It's not close. It's not. It just isn't.
Are they better than the Sixers, Chris?
You can't recontextualize it to just draft picks. We were talking about using assets. We were talking about moving things around. We're talking about player development. We had 4 undrafted starters last year.
Don't
just try to recontextualize it that way.
But are any undrafted players better than Fred VanVleet? The Raptors undrafted guy.
You have probably, right? We would all admit to that. One of the best undrafted players in the league, if not the best.
Player in history.
Right. And I think it's fair to say the Heat have history, but the Raptors have been better at it. Whether we want to call it close or not, the Raptors have been better at it. And also,
I'll hear that. Go ahead.
I just want to say to whoever said, have they been better than the Sixers? The Raptors were drafting the 27th guy and the 30th guys, and not like the Raptors were drafting at the bottom and the Sixers were drafting at the top year after year. Like, I had a whole thread about, like, in 2014, the Raptors and Sixers finished with the identical records. Since then, the Raptors have won 100 more games than the Sixers. And I forget how many playoff wins. I have a whole thread about it, going stat for stat between the Raptors and the Sixers in the last 10 years, considering who the Sixers were able to draft. The Raptors, despite the fact that the Sixers have only had lottery picks since then, right, since 2014, the Raptors still had more all-stars, like, from their draft picks, like their draft picks turning into all-stars and all-NBA guys than the Sixers. It was just Joel Embiid, and they had 1 year of Ben Simmons. Like, the Raptors had more success with their guys, despite the fact that the Raptors and the Sixers started from the exact same spot. And the Sixers, obviously, their winning philosophy was to trade Jrue Holiday and go into the tank. And the Raptors' winning philosophy was like, we're fucking riding with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry and seeing where this gets us.
Here are the Raptors undrafted: Fred VanVleet, Jose Calderon, Chris Boucher, Mike James, Allen Anderson, Jorge Garbajosa.
What a legend, Jorge Garbajosa.
And,
Jorge Garbajosa was a beast. He just got injured. What are we talking about?
Exactly. I remember that injury.
He would be so perfect in today's NBA.
Facts. That's so
Chris,
true.
the only 2 players you named was Fred VanVleet and Chris Boucher. The rest of the dudes I couldn't even name.
Yeah, it just chill out. Let's put some respect on Jose Calderon.
Jose Calderon
can get some.
Hold on. What we not going to do is slut it up for Jose Calderon. Y'all are disgusting.
What are you talking about? We're
Jose Calderon, Chris, have some decorum.
A good player that the Raptors did not draft.
This is disgusting. Jose Calderon.
You're mad.
Jose Calderon.
Jose Calderon.
Cleveland Cavaliers savior, right? Okay.
Hey, name me a Chicago Bulls undrafted player better than Jose Calderon. I'll wait.
I can name 5. Are you, Chris?
Give me 5 undrafted from Chicago then.
We're not doing this.
Because you can't.
You know why? Because Garth Pax was in charge.
Has nothing to do with it.
It does. They were given 20+ years.
Multiple front office people
with the third largest market in America. Stop that bullshit, Chris.
What's BS about this? You just don't
every
like
other team in the league has had comparable leadership for the last 20 years. The Bulls are just now getting somebody that has a brain.
Can I just say 50, 40, 90 for Jose Calderon? Put some fucking respect on his name. 50, 40,
I'm not
90.
putting any respect on Jose
Put
Calderon.
some respect on his name.
You can see,
one of the best assist to turnover
ratios.
One of the best assist to turnover ratios in his era.
I'm not respecting Jose Calderon.
Man, like this is sounding like somebody just.
Nah, but Chris, I still have an issue if you saying it's not
50,
close.
50, 40, 90.
Respect Kirk Heinrich. How about that?
Turnover ratios.
Respect Kirk
Put
Heinrich.
some respect.
Three years ago, Zach Lowe was on his podcast saying that the Heat had the most, the worst outlook for their roster construction of any team in the league. 3 years ago, and mind you, 2 out of those 3 years with that Dion Waiters team, they went to the playoffs. Mind you, all that shit that Amon quoted about the Heat's asset management about those players, they still found a way. I don't know how. Still to this day, I'm trying to figure out the math to get Jimmy Butler on their team with $3 million in salary cap space at that point. So I just to sit here and say that it's not close when we found a way to develop 4 undrafted players to give us actual minutes to get us to a first seed this year. In the last 2 years, fuck the last 10 years. In the last 2 years, Miami Heat have been one of the more consistent franchises in the league. And then when you expand that out to 10 years, we can't the disrespect to say it's not close. I've never been more upset.
Winslow, Bobo,
and they got
DJ Hairston.
First of all,
Chris, you're going down.
How do you kick a host of his own space?
Are not Moultrie.
You're basing all this development on just our draft picks. Okay, cool. We still got Roddy Magruder, who we are able to ship off. We were able to get G League players, people who weren't even thought about as basketball players, for them to come start on the goddamn team.
And
that's development. You're not just drafting something.
And the Raptors did.
Dog, not to the extent of what he did this year.
Okay, so Chris Boucher winning G League MVP and making a multi-million.
They've walked a salary cap apron for 3 years straight and never went over it and built teams that went to the playoffs. You're not going to sit here and discredit asset management like that.
Again, they still had to go get Jimmy Butler to do this.
Hey, Chris, listen, man.
At this point,
people have more cake than Eddie House has NBA jerseys,
that's
bro.
a dumb argument, man. Come on.
How's it dumb?
Better than this.
Chris got more capes than DJ Augustine.
This is my problem. The Toronto Raptors get Kawhi Leonard and they win a championship, right? If they don't get Kawhi Leonard,
you're welcome.
Championship, but they still are doing what they're doing.
Winning games and not going to the finals like every other team?
I'm going to explain it. I got it. Chris is upset that Joel Embiid with a face mask was everything that they told. Everything Jimmy Butler with a broken ass was everything that they told me Joel Embiid with a face mask was going to be. And that's what I think. That's what he's mad about. Jimmy Butler with a broken ass was everything Joel Embiid with a face mask was.
Chris just now you got to get your card to 50. That's what you're mad about.
$37 million on my team. That's why I'm mad.
Oh, Tobias Harris.
He's mad that he traded Ben Simmons before his time.
All right. Hey, we talked Raptors for 45 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, because people said it couldn't be done. I proved you wrong once again. I take 0 losses.
Matisse Thybulle and
that is not a point,
but on the same team.
He can't. He's giving
shame,
points
bro.
to himself.
It's not a
he's
point.
Saying arguments are not debatable, and he's giving points to himself. And it is a Tuesday.
Goddamn it! It's Aiden here. She went off like Rap God on y'all for 6 minutes. Y'all just got froze.
What do you got coming up on Dish Times or at Basketball News? What do you got?
Yes.
Oh, she's probably working. We'll wait for her to come plug. If you got something to plug, guys, please plug. Next up to plug his show. Dime Dropper. And if you don't know...
Wait, Chris, give me a second. Go to someone else before me.
Okay. You know what?
Chris, can I go ahead rebuttal?
Yeah, go. Well, JF, you're going to give a rebuttal. It's going to be wrong. That's the problem. It's going to be wrong.
He's contextualizing arguments before they happen. He's a politician. This man is a front office executive and a politician.
Yeah, Chris, that's nasty. Like,
Go ahead, Jay.
You just don't have to sit the floor for that.
Hey, look.
First of all, you opened it up by lying, saying they're gonna be a top 4 seed this season when every other team in the East got better but them.
Miami's still trying to get better right now. Hold on.
Yeah. All right. So there are teams that are up that go down. There are teams that are down that go up. Like,
and that's your reason.
What are we doing here?
That's your reasoning. I expected better, Chris.
I don't understand what you expected when the whole premise here, and by the way, I'm using that word again. Who Faces Ryan is probably yelling at me because I keep saying premise instead of premise. But I do it on purpose. It's like
goddamn chalk on a chalk.
I'll show like
JFK, give us your incorrect argument.
First of all, Chris, you already started on a bad note, man, trying to get me an incorrect. There is no incorrect argument when we talk about the Heat and what they've done with G League players this year. I mean, that's just obvious. Like, yo, shouts out to Chris Quinn and his Black Air Force because I know they had to do something with all these boys balling out and becoming dogs, what they needed to do, all right? Yes, we had Kyle Lowry at 18% fat, but that's what happens when you fill up on poutine and goddamn Canada, all right? He's out of that. He's on the South Beach diet.
Poutine is Quebec, Montreal.
Okay? Look, they got poutine at Taco Bell in Toronto. I used to live there. It's just weird. All right. So at the end of the day, all right, we have to understand that the Raptors, yes, they have done good, but you cannot say they're the greatest development team when you have to factor in all the points, not just drafting players and developing, but finding players off the goddamn road and developing them as well. Let's look at our summer league team. Usually are really, really good. Let's look at our G League team. They usually win championships. We've been doing that for the last 2 years? So when you talk about development, let's look through like the real inner details of things, not just drafting Scotty Barnes, who was a high-ranked player already. Come on, Chris, stop lying to the people, bro. I know Philly got you confused with trading Ben Simmons, and you could have had DeJounte Murray by now, but chill, bro. Chill. What happened?
Why do y'all keep giving away DeJounte Murray?
I called that, by the way. And the Toronto Raptors have a G League team called the Raptors 905, better than the Heat G League team.
Not true.
They're not better than Swiss Falls.
What a goalpost move, bro.
Not better than Swiss Falls.
It's true. All right, we keep going. Keep going, JF. You're doing a great job. Tony's here to back you up. We got Nick's down below. Danny's here. Cash is here. CJ, I'm going to get you. I promise. And then whenever Dime is ready, Cash is here. We'll get Dime as well. Go ahead. Finish your argument, JF. It's a great argument. Just wrong.
No, Chris, I'm done. I got my applause and I got my claps and everything. If people agree with me in the spaces, Chris, unfortunately, I am the coleslaw for today. Thank you.
Hey, coleslaw is elite. I'll give you a point. Up next, we've got KnickStan.
By the way, I'm proud of us because the Shawn Amon, like they got it back together, and I was really warm in that moment when we got it back together, and then we continued to have these debates and. The offseason's cool, man. Yo, shout out.
I don't know why, CJ. I don't know why the people are anti-rap.
I know why everybody got so upset. It was like the 3 kids that all got new Tamagotchis at the school, all arguing, and
we had to battle, bro. We just had to battle it out. It's done now.
It's like y'all all arguing. Just know you're gonna lose to the Bulls in the East Conference Finals next season. It's crazy.
Yeah, it must be really hard to beat the Spurs, the Heat, and the Toronto Raptors.
Domo's still on the
Yo, Domo, you still on that shit?
Chris, though, I appreciate you for shouting out the 905. I appreciate that because they do have more championships and conference titles than the Heat G League team. Just putting it out there so people can say that you're wrong. But if conference titles and championships matter, I'm just saying.
And also, by the way, they've produced more assistant coaches out of the Raptors 905 than any other team. And in fact,
shout out to Jamal Murray
right now, who's a head coach, who's probably about to be a head coach in the next 2 to 3 years in the league.
The same thing for
Raptors tape and put it on the spaces.
Y'all want to talk about coaching trees?
Domo, get out of here.
Y'all want to talk about coaching trees?
Domo, get out of here. This isn't about.
All right, KnickStan has been waiting patiently. We're gonna move and talk some Knicks because I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about. Because I don't know, like to put KnickStan in your name, that's some gangster stuff right there.
It's definitely a choice.
It is. It's like getting French fries at Burger King.
Hey, Domo, what time are you hooping?
First off, I appreciate you, Chris. Yeah, I got to bring up John Stockton. I was being, talk about undrafted free agents. extremely disrespectful to John Sparks, extremely disrespectful to Ben Simmons.
This is the only
Ben Simmons.
This is the only.
Oh my God! How y'all
ever
disrespect Ben Simmons like that? Like he's not the best undrafted player of all time. Like Bruce Bowen. Oh my God! Raja Bell.
Legend.
Raja Bell.
Now Raja's dead to me after this recent stint with the Ringer. I'm not. some of the things coming out of Raja's mouth hasn't been.
No, but him balling on the court though. That's all I'm saying. Bruce Bowen, Ben Wallace, Raja Bell, and John Starks. I had to throw John Starks up there. I know he's not better than Fred VanVleet, but I got to throw John Starks.
Hey, you know what? Somebody brought this up the other day. John Starks or Jalen Brunson?
Oh, nah, they
John Starks. Oh my God, John Starks is disrespectful.
John Starks, right? People were super disrespectful to John Starks yesterday, and I thought that shit was crazy. I was like,
shout out to Oklahoma State, by the way. Bang bang.
Go Pokes.
So I just had to throw that in there. You know, it would be incredibly unnickish for me to not throw up John Starks.
Whoa!
While y'all talk about Jose Calderon. Jose Calderon. Talking about Jose Calderon. I mean, I like Jose Calderon. I really do. But yeah, Ben Wallace is way better. Come on. Ben Wallace, come on.
Ben Wallace is number 2.
Number 2?
Come on. Get out of
We
here.
talk about Jose Carter. Who's next?
I
Andre
know you
Bargnani?
like the troll. You like the nice, you know, the Lion King was garbage.
He's in the Hall of Fame, Chris.
This is not hard.
Chris, how's he too?
This is not hard to understand. Like
Somebody said Ben Wallace was garbage. Did I hear that correctly?
I didn't say he was garbage.
He said he was second. That's disrespectful though.
How many suckling pigs has Jose Calderon sent you, Chris?
Oh my gosh.
How many pigs has he sent you?
See, the thing is like everybody has this view of Ben Wallace in Detroit. I watched him in DC. Okay?
He was good on the Bulls. He was good on the Bulls.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He was good on the Bulls.
He's a Hall of Famer. Congratulations for winning championships in Detroit.
Winning defensive players of the year. I mean, we were forgetting about that
because it was in Detroit.
All I'm saying is Fred VanVleet as
Bruce Bowen was better. Bruce Bowen was better. Sorry, he's a three-time defensive player of the year.
Ben Wallace is better than all these guys.
Yeah,
he was a man
he won 3 defensive player.
Man, y'all killing me, man. Ain't none of them earned the coin that Fred VanVleet has earned.
James Harden really made you run across the board.
None of them have had the pro career as Fred VanVleet. Like, y'all want to say Ben Wallace in Detroit. Go watch Ben Wallace in D.C. And he was okay in Chicago. He wasn't great in Chicago. John Starks got, buku minutes because the Knicks had nobody at 2 guard.
All right, so 7 years from now, when Fred VanVleet is ass, no longer a Raptor, we get to use the same argument against you, Chris.
Sure.
This is disgusting, man. This
Hey,
is
this
Chris.
is
I expected a lot much better. The great Ben Wallace. Are you kidding me?
He said buku
Chris
money.
is trolling hard right now, and we're all falling for it. So kudos to you, bro.
Toronto
Kudos.
propaganda I'm hearing. I mean, I was listening to it patiently, but Ben Wallace?
Toronto's allowed to have propaganda. They can say it's debatable.
They're cool. I got the
just
Ben
don't
Wallace
like Chris
propaganda.
It's
As
not
long as they got
debatable.
health
Chris
insurance,
said
they got plenty of propaganda.
I didn't say it's not debatable.
He was a man amongst boys.
Flag.
That it's not even close. That was
It's
nuts.
not.
It's 2022, Chris. You're a Goslight. That's
It is
nuts.
not even close, man. It's not. We can go one for
Out
one.
here on Tyler Hero's internet acting crazy, man.
Man, Tyler Hero's on here acting crazy on Tyler Hero's internet.
That's very true.
Don Dropper, you back with us?
I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Evan is losing his mind. He's like, what is going on? I have a migraine. I took my medicine. So it's literally like being hungover without drinking.
Fucking welcome to Blunderdome.
Hey, Evan.
Welcome to the show.
I don't know if you remember that one Space Chris a couple months ago, but he was talking about Jabari Smith before anybody at ESPN was. So shout out to Evan for that. I remember.
Yeah, give Evan a point. I'm also going to give myself another point because what did I tell you, Evan? That he wasn't going to be.
I guess, man. It's
I don't get no points, Chris. I mean, I just brought up like names nobody brought up. I mean, dang.
We drafted Nikola Jovic. I haven't heard nobody say a word about that.
Well,
I want a point for the 808 buckets. I'm gonna give 808.
I can't give you a point, unfortunately.
Wait, what'd you say, Domo? I didn't hear you.
Tomorrow, I want as many points as I give you buckets.
Oh, wait, hold on. You said today.
No.
From today to tomorrow.
No. I'm playing you today. I'm saying in tomorrow's Zoom Spaces, I want Chris to give me as many points as I give you buckets today.
All I want to know is when, where, and how are we watching this?
Hey, yo, Domo, listen, bro.
In all honesty, if y'all can give me like 5 days, I can ref. I have my reffing license. I'll mediate. You gotta give me extra guest pass. I'll even film.
We can play again in 5 days. He getting this work today.
Hey, Evan, you ain't that far, bro.
Listen, bro. Listen. I could just tell you he's the blow by, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
He got the wide shoulders on,
bro.
Evan.
It's gonna be 7-0, bro.
Let me
the nice wingspan.
I pulled both my hands listening to this argument.
Let me give some shout outs down below real quick because we're after 1 o'clock. Tomorrow 7:30, you need to be here because Just Jay says Cedric D Shine and Shawn with a W are going to host one of the best Knicks spaces your ears can ever hear and live from the Mecca tomorrow 7:30. The tweet is up in the Jumbotron. Make sure you set your reminder and retweet it. That's me plugging them because Shawn had to go to work and he didn't get a chance to plug. Also, down below in the building, ladies and gentlemen, Jose, which is Paradox Killer 23, and Rolo, Speak On It Rolo, 2 to 3 hosts of 77 Spaces. They also just had another phenomenal space. Make sure you tap in to get some net Mavs in your life. If you need some nets, you can listen to Cash. He'll give you a whole bunch of Kashpiracies, or you can listen to Nets. Nets Kingdom AJ and Saint from Nets Kingdom as well. LA Brodus is in the house. If you need a Cleveland Cavalier fan, like they exist, he's one of them. And you should follow him because he's a good guy. Also down below, I want to give a shout out to Regina. Gina, if you want to come up to say that one thing, you got, just let me know so you can come up. And after that, we'll get ready to run the show, into the ground. All right, cool. Dime Dropper, what's up? Say something and plug your show.
Good morning, Chris. It's a beautiful day in sunny LA right now. Today I'll be going live on my YouTube channel to discuss John Wall's move to the Clips. I'm not going to even get into it. I'll just wait till the live. Tune in. And tomorrow, I'm going to be – there's no regular Dimes Bank. I'm going to be collabing with Malika with The Rewind, and we're going to be doing a space on the greatness of Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. So I really recommend, if y'all want to learn something or have anything to contribute to that discussion,
educate thyself.
All you hear all these days is LeBron, Jordan, every single day, rinse and repeat, and it has socially conditioned my generation's mind to not even consider other greats because they have these built-in cop-out, weak arguments they use to discredit these players because they don't want to hear anybody touch their beloved LeBron and Michael Jordan. So we're going to get into all that tomorrow, and then I'm going to disprove all these ridiculous narratives that even pro players, I'm appalled lately by the ex-player that are shitting on their contemporaries like no tomorrow, and man, they're going to get checked real hard tomorrow. But I'm excited for that. And then also, me, Chris, continuing my historic timeline this offseason. I'm releasing a video, Time Machine Episode 5, where I break down the actual film of the old game, and it's going to be the defending champion Knicks and Kareem's Bucks. So I'm really excited for that because I'm working on it. So that's what I'm coming up today, going live on my YouTube channel, link in the bio to talk about John Wall.
There's a lot of people on this app that call themselves b-ball historians. Malika and Dom are actually true b-ball historians, so check out that space, man.
Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate Dime for all the work you do. Like, it's hard to take yourself out of your element and put yourself into a position that you have no tangible reference to. And that's what Dime does. And what does that mean? Like literally going back in time to reteach yourself the game of basketball is what Dime does. That's not easy to do. So check it out over on YouTube. It takes you like 5 minutes to watch one video. You'll put him on your rotation. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And then while you're there, head over to my channel to subscribe to the Hoop Spaces channel because we're building something, to give y'all, good stuff.
Oh, also, if you watch the show Winning Time with the Lakers, I had the guy that plays Chick Hearn on the show recently. That was really fun. He was very nice to come join me. So check that out if you're watching that show, Winning Time.
And he actually he did a real good job too, Scoop.
Yeah, he was great.
All right.
Did he hold his fist up to you like that in the middle of the show? He said, when I'm talking, when I put the fist up, you're not talking.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We are at 107. I need
Chris, can I plug my show real quick? We got Tommy Beer on beat. It's our first NBA edition onto we do NFL. If you guys play fantasy football, catch us out on 32-bit at 32-bit. It's a Marcus Grant company along with myself. If you guys know any fantasy football, Marcus Grant's on the NFL Network. We got Tommy Beer. We're supposed to have Julito on, but got some schedules crossed. But we're gonna get him back on. But we got that coming out tomorrow. So if I appreciate y'all tap in, and looking forward to connecting with y'all, possibly doing some work with us, with you all here as well.
All right. Let's see. You got to plug CJ, the Unathletic Pod. What's up?
What's going on, Chris? I was loving the Discord earlier. Don't know why people are so down on the Raptors, but anyway, plug in my podcast. Comes out every Friday. The Unathletic Podcast, an unathletic man talking about athletic men who play sports. This Friday, I will definitely be talking about John Wall to the Clippers and other free agency moves that potentially may happen, and a lot of rumors around the league. So you guys tune in. That will be coming out at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon Eastern Standard Time. Y'all check it out on YouTube at my page, The Unathletic Podcast with CJ. Appreciate you, Chris.
All right. Next up, we'll go to Tony, and he'll plug a lot of stuff because he's 5 Reasons Sports is going to be big for Florida, for Miami, and he's going to be doing some stuff there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, 5 Reasons at this point is now the largest media outlet covering the Miami Heat and covering a lot of South Florida sports. I think the Sun Herald still can claim a bigger following for the Dolphins, but outside of that, we eclipse every major news network in following and interaction counts by a large number. So, if you're looking for Miami Heat content, man, we're serving it up all off season. I posted up in the space a great resource for you to go follow 5 Reasons Sports, and our coverage team for the Miami Heat will range anywhere from me and Shawn just cutting it up kind of as fans and as guys who like to really stay as focused to the player aspect of the game and like to share the human stories, to Greg Sylvander and Brian Fonseca of Basketball News, to Ethan Skolnick of old fame in Miami, and where our network is large and doing a lot of things. But specifically, we have 2 shows coming out over the next 2 days, just kind of looking at the off-season options, the opt-ins, the opt-outs. So make sure if you want some free agency content with a South Florida ring to it, you're going to find us Thursday at 8 o'clock on the YouTube page. And then our show tomorrow is going to be a little more loose. So we don't quite have a time for that yet, but that's going to be opt-in, opt-out coverage and what that means for the league. Typically, the YouTube shows tilt a little more national. So as long as you like the personalities, you're going to have a good time with us.
You will. I actually say everybody should follow 5 Reasons. Like what we're trying to do, in essence, is build a better basketball community, right? And part of the issue that I think that we have as consumers is that at the very top, like they don't want to let go. Like they try to control information so that they can control a narrative, so that you tune in. They bait it with emotional, sensationalized topics. I mean, really, they took Murdoch's book from Fox over the last 25 years, took out some of the stuff that was, real bad, and then left all the propaganda markings to make you bleed, ESPN or Fox. And when I actually look around, for information, I stumbled on 5 Reasons Sports before I even met Tony here on the app. And I've actually kind of used it with Greg Sylvander, primarily was the first person I saw. Great resource. And like that, there are other, regional media companies that are being developed that y'all should really search out for your news. Like it's independent journalism at its finest. Brandon's in the building. If you need Nets follow Brandon. If you need Mets, follow Brandon, because like you just switch out the N and the M, and like his world is super simple. Make sure you shoot him a follow. He's in the building. TJ Kiesel is in the building. If you are a sneakerhead, if you like fashion, and if you like balancing your budget, you need to follow TJ Kiesel. She hosts dope rooms with like 5 of the best sneakerheads on this app. Jazzy Ray, the YouTube guy, his name is Chris. Make sure you pop in and follow her. Let's see, who else is down here below? The Nightingale, our friend. The pickup card game is here. You can find it at slamgoods.com. In fact, you should just go to Google right now, put in pickup card game and Slam Goods. You're running out of time, actually, to get your first edition. Up next, we're going to go to Evan, who's going to plug his work. We'll go to Domo, so he can say something. We'll go to 808s and Dany, as they actually, Domo just bounced out, so they can argue. And we'll go to Cash last. I don't know why I did that. I just do. You know, that's kind of how I work. What's up, Evan?
Yeah, so I honestly have really nothing to plug. I'm not really going to be active in any draft content or rookie reports until Summer League, but this may be the last time we talk before the DeJounte Murray trade occurs, and I want to make things clear. Just now, some guy compared him to a Juice DeLon Wright, an Eric Bledsoe with heart. Listen, let's be real here. Besides Malcolm Brogdon and his whatever he has hurt, always injured ass. Literally, there's no other triple-double threat as a point guard that's not going to take you out of a game, that is going to play his heart out on both sides of the ball. Obviously, I don't want to say he quit on the Spurs or the organization, don't know what happened behind the scenes, but his value is being determined and is being waged by markets that have nothing to do with the Spurs organization. And there are people that have been said for years, Mark Stein, I can't even get into the Spurs organization for the past 30 years, solely because I don't know left from right. No one can tell me any insight. So that's all I got for now, man.
Cool. Appreciate it. Let's see.
Really quick, Evan, are you going to be at Summer League?
Yes, determining the days. I'm only going to be there for maybe 3 or 4 days, though.
Okay, I'm about the same. We should link, and also you should tell me what your luck has been with credentials, because I cannot get these people to.
Credentials is tough, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Let me read the room real quick. I'm not gonna lie. Project Spurs got hacked, and literally all my work is gone. So I don't have anything in my bio to get me anywhere. But I do have to go. We'll talk about
You might
this later.
be able
Tony,
to connect with Emily Austin is going, and she might have a back. She might have a back channel and credentials. Like if you want to message her,
for sure.
She would be.
No, I definitely will.
Yeah, because I think she might be going for a separate reason, but I believe she's credentialed. I'll check with. I'll put her. I'll make a message.
All right. Dany and 808s, you guys can come in together because, you know, when you two go at it, I smile because it's fun for me.
The slander. Me and 808 get along quite well.
Oh, yeah. It's not slanderous. It's true, by the way. A lot of y'all people use this word very wrongly. Like,
well, fine. You like to stir the pot, if I may say. You're the one holding the spoon, just staring at it, sir. Just staring at it. No, I have nothing to say. Warriors are still champions. We're getting in that work. Life is good. It's not as hot as it was. The rain finally came down to Houston. I can't speak on Dallas, but the rain finally came and I found a frog in my toilet this weekend. It scared the shit out of me, but I got him safely to another destination. He would have flushed down the toilet properly, but then I thought about it. God said, "Nah, Danielle, look at his eyes. His eyes looking at me so pitiful." I saved his life and put him in the proper place so he could hop to wherever destination he wanted to go.
Oh,
that's the weirdest thing to me this weekend. All this Raptors talk for 45 minutes kill me, huh?
You ever catch a frog in one of your ice cream things?
Never. And I check my salad now more than ever to make sure no little green frog is hiding in there. I mean, this ain't the first time I had a frog in the house. It happened to me when we lived in Charlotte. I was sitting there, and this little frog was sitting out by my fireplace looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at the dogs, not knowing he's there. Oh, let me save your life, frog, before these dogs find you. Frog, and send him off back into the backyard where he belonged. So anyway, it's just some weird stuff. But no, you know, I enjoyed the conversation. The rappers talk went left. I didn't expect it to go left like that. I expect to go WWE Entertainment. You know, the people in the North, let them stay there. But we're in Westeros, okay? Keep on telling y'all. This is where we at. We're in the land of the warriors, okay? This is where we at. We are the champs. I'm still basking in it. I'm still basking in it so much. I drank so much last night. I fell asleep. My husband said I was snoring. I said, I was for some good sleep. Anyway.
Get some water.
I am drinking water.
Yep.
And then after I get off, I'll make me a margarita. I meant to make me a mimosa this weekend, but send a picture of it.
You did right by not having a mimosa this week.
No, don't worry. I'm going to have a mimosa and some Chick-fil-A. Get me a cool wrap.
Wow.
Some avocado.
One mid on top of mid.
Awesome. Yes, I know. I have to do it. After that, drink a Chick-fil-A milkshake and have a Cheesecake Factory cheesecake after that. I'm going to live my best life.
Yeah,
okay?
Well,
it's a pool party.
As long as you're walking and drinking water, you know, that's a lot of shit.
Texas heat, sir. No, I did it this weekend and I was tired. Oh, Lord. It's too much. Maybe I'll get in my little kiddie pool out back and just bask in the glow of it.
Now,
anyway,
imagine a grown woman in a kiddie pool.
Yeah, I can't swim, so
believe it or not, more people can't swim than can, which is I find really weird.
No, my husband can swim, so that's the thing. I mean, really swim, like
that's what
ocean swim.
Yeah, I don't drown. I don't call it swimming. 808s. What you got?
Let's see. Try to make this quick. The Sparks. It was a good game last night.
They played good last night.
You said what?
They played real good last night.
Yeah, they did.
They seemed more organized, had better energy about themselves.
Yeah, Brittany was flirting on the triple-double. I think she had like 10, 7, and 7, something like that. But Courtney Vandersloot leads the W in clutch point score with 42 on the season. I got an article dropping.
How do you leave her open for a 3?
How
do you leave her open? I was screaming at the fence. Don't leave that bitch open for a 3.
Listen, we could ask New York the same thing. She's got 2. Since the last article I wrote about 3 weeks ago, she has 2 more additional game-winning 3-point shots. Got an article dropping about an hour about the Sky and the repeat chances I think they have. Also, on the 16th of next month, Sky will be in Dallas. I'll be at the game. You can find me on the court. I'll be like in the first row, right behind everybody. But yeah, other than that, I am going to All-Star. Not going to know exactly where I'm at right now, but got stuff working in there. Also, when the season starts back for the Bulls, I've got a new co-host for Mad Awesome Madison. There's going to be a reveal within the next couple of weeks, but I can't wait to get started.
Is it somebody I know?
Relatively, yes, but no.
I totally dislike that answer.
Is it Dwayne Dedman? Is it Dwayne Dedman?
Is it Dwayne Dedman?
Listen, if Dwayne Dedman was hosting the show rather than playing with me, I think that's a problem. But he needs to be in the Bulls uniform. I'm still serious about that. Mitchell Robinson or Dwayne Dedman?
You have a chance. Now you really have a chance.
Dime dropper. You put something up in. Oh, come on, man. Stop it. That's just.
Ben.
He's number 2. It's okay. It's okay to be number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody who's popped in. We're going a little bit over because we started late. My son is in camp, so it's going to be 10:30 starts for the week. I'm not trying to die in a car accident rushing here to listen to y'all talk about Kyrie Irving. Like, it's cool. We can wait. I do want to say, like, I want to thank everybody who stuck around and listened to us talk it out with Iman and Shawn. Shawn actually had a meeting. He didn't leave. He had a meeting. But I want to bring this up. She's not angry, right? She's not mad. And the issue that I kind of have is we tend to, as men, immediately default to an emotional explanation when it comes to women. And like, I'm highlighting this now to have y'all understand, take a breath, because they're just as passionate as you are. And the amount of spaces that I've listened to Trust me, like, she ain't got nothing on us as men. Like, I go to spaces on my computer so I don't get DM, but let me tell you, there are plenty of spaces, some going on right now, where like literally every word is yelling F, N, whatever.
Yeah, I was about to say, Amon just has a tempo and a passion to her voice, but that's just how, she communicates. I don't think there's ever any anger involved. I've heard Amon angry at Kendrick Perkins. It was hilarious.
It's the way she talks. I think people think it's angry, and it's not. Like, it's just passion, bro.
Well, but see, that's the thing.
It's knowledgeable passion too. That's another thing.
In this niche, like Regina gets this. Both Nats.
Regina gets it a lot too, yeah.
And none of them are angry. They are just basketball fans. And like what they get angry at is probably not you. I'm just saying this in general. Mansplaining 99 out of 100 times, right? Like that's where the anger comes from. We need to do better, okay? As men, we need to do better.
Also, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in admitting that maybe, just maybe, they're better debaters and they know more about it than you do. There's nothing wrong with that.
I understood it. She's from the hood. I said, she from the hood for real in Toronto. I knew it. I'm from the D, so I understand.
I want to shout out one last shout out, Dylan. I got your podcast. It is the PNW Sports Podcast, Pacific Northwest Sports. It's up in the Jumbotron. Check it out, guys. Like it's Pacific Northwest, so it's Mariners. It's Trailblazers, Oregon Ducks, and stuff like that. But learn somebody else's point of view from where they are. And then you can find yourself meeting them, in the middle. Like, that's also the other thing. We try to say we meet people in the middle. I guarantee you, literally, the only person who meets people in the middle consistently on this space is me. Because, like, I painstakingly try to meet people in the middle. It's very difficult to do sometimes. So please meet them in the middle. And it's easy to do. You just shut your mouth and listen.
You just lied. You just told a bald-faced lie.
How did
you do not meet us in the middle on Serial, Chick-fil-A.
In the middle.
808 on this. We gonna tag team you right now. You want it? You got it. Chris, you are do not meet anybody in the middle. You are a pot stirrer. You dictate. You try to push people's buttons to get them to go to fit your narrative. Nah, you ain't fooling us. Take your coleslaw narrative somewhere else, sir. You lie.
See, there you go again. Like, I didn't bring up coleslaw. I never do. Y'all bring it up, and then I get yelled at.
Hey, Chris, is this a moment to where you can use slander correctly and say that they're slandering you?
Yes. Point to CJ.
You just told
Chris, CJ, you nasty for that, bro. You nasty as hell.
Now I'm angry,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. I got to get going to get ready to pick up my son. Tomorrow we'll get into Perk and Dre. But if you really want to hear somebody actually talk about it, I suggest you all follow Natfluential. That's the All Nat podcast. Let her explain to you the Kendrick Perkins and Draymond Green story. It's phenomenal, okay? I, on the outside, am like, bro, you got stuck by Tristan Thompson. Why are you talking? But I don't know as much as Nat does on this incident, so I'm cool with her explaining it because, quite honestly, I'm just gonna say Tristan Thompson punked you at a dinner. Like that's what the story is from my end, right? That's what Perk is alluding to. Everything else, though, let him do it. Nat got you on lock. Follow her for some Dope Warriors coverage and the Hoopstresses tonight as well. 8 o'clock.
And W coverage tomorrow.
Yeah, W coverage tomorrow. I thought that was Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
tomorrow's not Thursday? Oh, wow.
No, tomorrow's Wednesday, 808. That's a fail.
808, what you smoking, sir?
Man, you about to get...
I need to stop. That's the problem.
Going to pour buckets on you. It's not even going to be funny.
808, you're slandering the days of the week.
I thought it was already July. Don't worry about it, 8.
You so angry? You missed it on Wednesday? What Wednesday do to you?
It's not Friday. That's why.
Catch us if you missed any part of the show on YouTube. Brought to you by audiolabs.io. I'm going to hit this button because I'm gone. Cash, speak. You have 50 seconds.
The Nets are winning it all, baby. He's back. Warriors Nets 2020, 2023, 2024 finals. Let's go. Run it back.
That's 2020 never. Y'all playing us.
Run it back.
Run it back.
Never.
Cash.
Give me Jalen Smith.
Cash, you got a show later today?
We might.
All right. As I look at the 15 seconds counting down, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You could be anywhere, but you were here today. Everybody who's a content creator, appreciate it no more than I. We'll see you tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Appreciate it. Peace out.